Can I hang you anywhere that's going to be useful to me with my pop socket shit? That's the question. I don't think the answer is going to be yes. In fact, I think the answer is going to be no, but that's fun. I've got ways around this. I have ways around this. Let's put you here for now. I might just leave you there. I'll be right back though. You want to stay in here with me? You can go with your mom. Okay, with your mom's. Okay. Oh, let's see if I can get comfortable and do this at the same time. I think we're getting there. We're getting close. Hey guys, what up? Hello, what it do? All that fun stuff. Let's get move this a little closer. Are you enjoying the sticky hands, dude? I got a pocket full of that shit. I think one of the pair of pants I was wearing to the meetup still has a pocket full of sticky hands. I gave them out. I gave them out to people and shit when I remembered I had them in there, and people were fucking flinging them on me all goddamn night. You agent of fucking chaos, you. But what it don't? That's a good question. What it don't? And I missed you guys too. I mean, all right. I didn't. While I was gone, I didn't really. I missed. I missed doing the show. I missed doing Deep Fat Fried. I missed working on Cinema for Cynics. I missed doing this. I did a couple of them, like a couple patrons only shows, and maybe a couple of these. I don't remember. I ended up doing way less than I thought I would because I gotta tell you guys, man, Paul's ego was about to be burnt out. Like I just needed some time away. And I got it. I got to spend, at least a day in my favorite place in the world, and then got to go visit my mom for a couple of days, which was really nice. But I just needed to like unplug and but it was nice. It was refreshing and invigorating. I don't know if you guys saw TJ's TJ Does Life post where I kind of waded out into the ocean and jumped in the waves and shit, man. I'm telling you, say what you want about it. I did look like a beached whale out there struggling, but I left. I came out of that. I did it again later that night. Later that night, we walked back up the beach, and went back to TJ's pad and rolled a couple of joints. And then by that time, it was, sundown. So we walked down on the beach again and walked the opposite direction this time. There's hardly anybody out there. Found a secluded spot to sit down and smoke a couple joints, and I just felt like doing it again. I was in the same clothes I was in earlier, still a little bit damp probably from my first ridiculous swim. But the ocean called me, man. I go, wait, what am I supposed to say? Right at sunset too, so it's just fucking beautiful. And but the wind had kicked up, so it was a little cooler. But man, I just fucking went back out there and I did the same shit. And at night, like I'd done this before. This is something I do almost every time I go to that beach. I mean, there may have been a couple of times I haven't gotten in the water, like winter and shit. I usually don't do it. But if I'm there in the fucking summer, I'm gonna be out there in the ocean at some point. And at night, when you do it at night, all those waves they come quicker because the tide is coming in, and the sea's way more insistent. It's grabbing more and it's pulling more back with it as it, pushes out up into the beach. So it's a little more dangerous to do at night, but oh my God, dude, it's so fucking cool, man. I saw this shit. I'll never forget it. Every time I go there, I see something like this, but you have to go out in the water sometimes to really get a good look at it. I was out about chest deep in the ocean, the waves, I know how to ocean swim, so I've been doing it my whole life, so I'm pretty good at it. I know how to take a wave and not struggle, so I'm getting real tired and shit. And I'm out there and I'm kind of, I'm rolling with the waves, and I saw a pelican. There's a big breaker, a little farther out. I saw a pelican swoop down and just kind of skim the top of that breaker as he flew with his beak, just pulling, a little fish or whatever the fuck, or skimming for fish out of it. And I was just like, fuck. Something so simple like that. You've probably seen nature documentaries where you've seen pelicans do similar things, but man, to see it happening right in front of you, and then just against that backdrop of a sunset and the breaker, and just that infinite ocean. Man, I don't know. The closest I get to spirituality or whatever the fuck is when I'm at the beach. But yeah, everybody's just fucking. And like we all traveled all day yesterday, but we're in the process of getting vendors paid and settling up with Marshall and everybody else. But it was fun. The meetup was great. Um, Paul, you need to be a teacher. I love the way you articulate ideas. Well, whatever. This is what I am, so I guess I'll learn from me here because I have no intention on being a teacher of anything. I saw pelicans in South Carolina. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to picture the ocean. I got to be there, man. But when I'm there, I'm kind of transformed a little bit. Like I said, it's the only time in my life and the only place in my life that I flirt with the idea of spirituality, I guess. I don't really feel it's that way, but it's personally fulfilling. It's the Gulf. No, no, no. We were in California last week, so this is Pismo Beach in California. We're not talking about the Gulf. I've been to the Gulf too. The Gulf of China. Oh, well, whatever. It was the Pacific fucking Ocean. Um, Welcome home, Paul. The ocean really is my true home. I've always told the people closest to me what my wish is, and really, and I've always told them too. In the end, it doesn't matter what you do with my body. Do whatever's easiest. But if my wishes factor into it at all, cremate me and take me to Pismo Beach and wade out into the ocean and just put me out there. You know what I mean? Put my ashes out there in the fucking sea. I'd rather that than be in a box rotting away for all eternity. Fuck that shit. The ocean gives you ligma. Yeah, ligma balls. I don't fall for stupid old memes that people resurrect and pretend that they're new. Ligma's been around since I was in fucking high school. So please, please, don't try and fucking pass off the ligma on me. I'm not a retard. Paul, describe what you did in LA. Well, we got to LA kind of later in the evening, two nights technically before the meetup. Checked into our Airbnbs. The first night we were there, me and TJ, Chelsea, and Ashley all went to a weed shop. That was our first stop, and it was great. Got a bunch of weed, and then we walked right out of that weed shop, and we were all agonizing over like where to eat. We were all hungry, and I saw this little hole in the wall Mexican. Well, it wasn't even a Mexican joint. It was like an El Salvadorian joint, but it was a pupusa place, and I was like, dude, pupusas are fucking amazing. And this is LA, so little shitty restaurants like this are probably pretty good. And everybody went over there. The service took forever, but the food was fucking amazing. We went back to the Airbnb and smoked up and just kind of chilled. The next day, Marshall was in town, and Chelsea's uncle was in town, so they both like we wanted to have a full day there to kind of just relax before the show, and to have our final little meetings about the show and to do rehearsals and dry runs and all that shit and make sure everybody had what they needed. So Marshall ended up chilling with me for a good chunk of the day, which was real cool. And I think later on that day, Ashley's uncle came by for a while. I got to meet him. First time meeting him. He's a California uncle, so we've never gotten to meet him yet. And then we did the show. So the day of the show was, I mean, surprisingly pretty easy. We're not a demanding show, so when we got there to set up for the sound guy, he was immediately in love with us because we didn't have a million different drum kits for him to mic, and you know what I mean. We had nothing really. It's like we need three hot mics, and the ability to play stuff through the board and shit. He was like, whatever. Yeah, dude, you got it. Easy peasy. There are videos out there of Marshall doing his thing. I've seen a couple of fan videos. We actually paid a professional videographer to shoot the event. He's in the process of compiling and editing that, and he's going to send us the first draft of it in about, I think he said a couple of weeks. Um, so in a week and a half or 2 weeks, we should have his first edit. We get one revision, so we might have some changes we want him to make based on the footage, and then he's going to send us the finished product. So um, everybody will at least have the chance, if they want it to get it. I'm not going to tell you how we plan to distribute it, other than the fact that if you're a patron, you won't have to come out of pocket for it. If you're not, then there'll be an option to buy it. Marshall Manson, did you deliberately dress like one of the Columbine? Yeah, Marshall had his combat fatigues on with his boots, and his he looked kind of punk rock, dude. The suspenders and the white T-shirt, uh, you know that looks punk rock to me. You never released the footage from the ABQ meetup. That's true. That is actually, we still have that. So that is actually something that's being worked on too. Believe it or not, Taylor is editing that. So she's been working on it as a big project because there's just tons of footage from that. So she's editing it down into something that we can use, and you guys will get that as well. It's pretty cool. What's the beard, sir? What's the beard? How? You tell me. Another dude who shot was gonna edit together a Colorado meetup doc. Hmm. Were we ever gonna do a meetup in Colorado? Did they do a meetup in Colorado? I know I wasn't at it. I used to attend Columbine High School. Fun fact, not during the shooting though. That's cool. So you lived in Littleton, right? It's the name of the town that was in, if I'm not mistaken. I might be. I know the dude who was. Oh yeah, I read that one already. Sorry. Rereading. Colorado. Yeah, we know. I maybe the dudes. I don't know. The dudes did a couple of meetups that I wasn't at. Most of those were in Europe though. I know they did a Seattle meetup that I couldn't make it to when they were first moving or looking for a place to move to there. And then I also wasn't able to make it to a Portland meetup because I was out of town. So yeah, those were the two that I remember while I was there. I don't remember a Colorado meetup. It's not a TV, it's my monitor. But yeah, it's chroma key green because that's the monitor I use for all of my little sound bars and shit when I do these the right way. I don't have a mic yet here, so that has to be ordered. So until then, this is what you get. But once I get my mic back over here, I'll be set to go and start doing, sit down at the computer ideologies with better sound quality and shit. But yeah, so yeah, let's see. I was going through the whole trip, right? So we did the meetup. That went really well. A lot of people, I don't know, man. I don't mean to be evasive about what happened. So I'll tell you guys what I can, which is that somebody brought something to the meetup that should never have been brought to the meetup. And whatever, you can probably imagine what I'm talking about. And the only reason that we're not, saying everything that we know is number one, there's still an investigation going on, and number two, the venue was really cool to us, and we don't want them to, we don't want to put out this. Fuck yeah, there was a dude running around with sticky hands, and it was becoming a thing. No, no, not sticky hands. But just know that it was for everybody's safety. There was actually a hostage situation at a Trader Joe's the day of the meetup that was just mere blocks from where it happened. So there had been a shooting the week before right outside of that club, not right outside of it, but on the street that club was on. All of the venues in that part of Hollywood were on high alert. And this venue could have, because this incident happened before the show, before the stage show. So this venue could have shut down the whole fucking thing. And think about how awful that would have been. So they treated us really well, you know, and it was for everybody's safety that it happened. And they didn't kick us out. I mean, they did kick us out early, but I don't blame them for what they did. And we went in. I grabbed all the merch that we had left, and I gave it to everybody that was gathered outside the venue. And I stayed there until almost 2 in the morning. I didn't. I mean, it wasn't 2. I think it was more like 1:30 in the morning, but which was around the time they were going to close the venue out. I made sure everybody got car rides home and Ubers, and because there was a lot of drunkies, a lot of drunkies. I was one of them. But yeah, it sucked. But all the people, they were really cool about letting us letting a big crowd of people hang out in front of the venue for an hour or so, even after they kicked us all out. So, Everybody's fine. Yeah, nobody got hurt. Everything's cool, and that's great. I mean, that's 100%. The worst thing that happened that night in terms of people getting hurt was there was a couple of guys there, maybe more than a couple, that I think maybe had never been to a bar before, even though they were of age. And I saw a dude passed out at the bar. Some dude fucking erupted right out in front of the venue, and the poor fucking security guard was mopping up this giant ocean of puke. Um, you know, but whatever. That's normal bar shit. People throw up in every bar in America every goddamn night they're open. They're used to that. So that's normal stuff. But yeah, I gave hugs, man. I went out there and I passed out what few shirts we had left, and I don't know if people got the sizes they need. It's just like we had what we had. Gave it all out. And then I was just like, I don't have really anything else to give you guys, but I'm just going to hang here until you guys are all dispersed, and I'll give everybody here a hug that wants one. I've been doing that all night anyway, but let's do it. And it was kind of a nice moment. We had a big old group hug, all the fans out in front of the venue kind of crowded around me, and there was a big old group hug, and people were real understanding. Everybody that was there, after I talked to them specifically, there was a little bit of anger before I was angry when I heard that we were being kicked out of the venue. I was out in front in the smoking session, smoking, fucking a million joints being passed to me and shit. And then all of a sudden I start hearing rumblings like, we're being kicked out, we're being kicked out, we're being kicked out. And I'm like, what? And I looked at the fucking time and I was like, no, 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 no. So I went in there like ready to yell at this fucking venue because we had a contract and shit. But they pulled me aside and explained to me and showed me what was going on. And I was just like, oh man. Like my tone, immediately I knew that the right thing was done. And the fans that hung out after that still got to spend a lot of time with us because the guys kept rotating in and out. We were kind of going back and forth from the green room to that, trying to figure out what we could do, if anything. But I spent most of my night just out in front after that, just chilling with people and making sure all the drunkies got Ubers and stuff. So whatever, it is what it is. That part of it wasn't great, but that was totally out of our control, and it was not reflective of either the venue or the people that came to it. So it was reflective of the one person that fucked everything up. But yeah, I mean, just is what it is, man. Is what it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was it? What are you talking about exactly? You're talking about the incident. In terms of like actual damage done, it was a 0. In terms of severity, it was a full blown 10. Maybe not a 10, but it was up there. It just, for me, I was just flabbergasted that somebody that watches us would ever think to do something like that. It just wasn't, I don't know. But it is what it is. It is what it is, and that's really all I'm going to say about it. I really ask you guys to respect that. Just know that it's for the venue, and because we respect them, and they were respectful to us and our people, and all of you that came. All right, so let's just leave it at that, and know that it was for everybody's safety. It was out of our hands, and it was done. The right thing was done, and everybody still had a good time, man. Everybody still had a good time. So that was what was positive. Nothing like that's ever happened at one of our meetups. I don't foresee it ever happening again. It was just one of those crazy outlier fucking moments that happens. And that's it. That's it. So we'll be doing another one. I can almost guarantee we'll do another one of these in LA just as kind of a redemption meetup, and we'll close it out this time. We're planning other places. For the most part, the meetup was a success, not necessarily a financial one, but we came pretty close to breaking even on it, and that was our goal. And we kind of treated it like a vacation as well, which is something we're not going to do every time we do one of these. So there were additional expenses that we were all out of pocket that we wouldn't be on a normal one. So anyway, is what it is. I'm just going to refer people back to this. Maybe Coolman will clip it for me or some shit so I can put it up as a private link or an unlisted link, and then he can just link it anytime people ask because I don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, I understand people want to know what was happening, but I did make sure that night that you guys all knew from me that everybody was fine, and nobody got hurt. As far as I know, even the drunkies and the pukies all got home and slept it off. I didn't hear about any bad anything. So, but that's that. So afterwards, after the meetup, man, that's a whole story in and of itself. But Ashley had a tattoo appointment, and then we were supposed to after that all go, but that ended up going way longer. And so TJ and Chelsea ended up leaving for Pismo Beach before we did. We were all supposed to go down there together for 3 or 4 days, and it didn't end up working that way. TJ and Chelsea went down there. The Airbnb that we had rented ended up being scummy, so they almost turned around and just left because I didn't go down there with them. I ended up staying an extra, well, it ended up being an extra 2 days in Hollywood. Just well, whatever. I won't go into there's no need to go into too much detail about that, other than whatever. It just needed to happen. It was a last minute decision, and it had to happen. But we ended up going to Pismo on the third day. TJ and Chelsea were about to turn around and come home because of that scuzzy fucking Airbnb, but they went and ate clam chowder where I told them to. And they were like, okay, maybe this place is all right. So they ended up staying. We got to spend a whole day with them. Spent the whole day basically on the beach, just chilling and swimming and cutting up and smoking weed and having fun and just relaxing. And then the next day, they drove back to LA for the day, and I drove down to Madera, where I was born, where my mom and stepdad and sisters are. And I hung out with my family a little bit. Stayed at my mom's house with Ashley, and that was it. Yeah. We flew out of Fresno yesterday. The rest of them all flew out of LA yesterday. We all kind of got back into town at different times. And that with that. Wasn't that clam chowder place off Post and Valanche? No, it's right down on the pier, man. It's pier side, so it's on Pismo Pier. It's like 3 shops up. I mean, there might be one on Post and Valanche. I think, yeah, Post and Valanche, yeah, Post and Valanche are in the middle of San Luis Obispo, yeah, yeah. But there's two. We didn't go to that one. We didn't go to the Valanche one. Pimp's unwell. I'm sad to hear that. I don't like Pimp being unhappy. God damn, man, I'm fucking rolling through. I'm vaping like a fucking fiend today. I don't know why. I've gone through like 2 tanks. I usually go through a tank a day. It's probably because that shit is not high enough Nick or whatever the fuck. I use my 12 here. Clean home window. Post. And how's this doing? These are swapped too. Let's just do it. God damn, palsy. Well, I'm being a vape lord today. Probably just stressed. Get in there. Yeah, I've like gone all the way through a set of batteries today, which I usually don't do in a day. And I've vaped somehow like 2 tanks worth of shit today. Let's go. Come on, bud. You want to come in here? I'm not trying to lock you out. I just don't want to lock you in. You see? Yeah, see, buddy? I'm not trying to lock you out. I just don't want to lock you in. If you want to drink or you want to go lay down. Really digging your shit on DFF. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate it. I plan to. Takes AA batteries. No. 18650 batteries. Aftermarket. Like Duracell don't make these batteries. These batteries could power a small city for a fucking week, and I vape them down to 0 every day. Huh? What do you think about that shit? Huh? How do you feel about that shit? You like that shit? Oh, dude, Dinar went ape shit. Ashley went to pick him up today because we knew we were getting in late, so he was gonna have to stay the night there because there's just you can't pick your dog up after 10, I think there. We didn't get in until 10. So, yeah. She went to pick him up today, and he went apeshit. She brought him home, and he just like, jumping up on me and kissing, and he's just, I mean, he does fine at those places. He loves people, and he actually likes other dogs, even though he's pretty terrified of them. He likes being around him, so I know he's okay, but I just hate having to board him. I hope one day I'll be rich and famous enough that, you know, I can just take Dino everywhere I fucking go, and nobody's gonna say shit about it. But, you know, them's his pipe dreams. Till then, Dino are gonna have to get boarded. Yup. Just no choice in the matter. Seen Vanilla Ice's new TV show on True TV. No. No. Dude, somebody brought this for me to the meetup. This is pretty cool. It's actual Bubblicious grape. It's Pop Clouds grape candy. As you can see, I enjoyed myself. I vaped almost that entire thing. I use that pretty much exclusively in LA. Bubblicious grape is kind of it's a joke because I don't like answering vape questions, but I ended up actually really liking grape. You bought that vape? Cool. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, look, dude, I vaped almost the whole thing. Yeah, this is all I vaped the whole fucking time I was in LA after I got it from you, so. You look like him from the Powerpuff Girls. Him? Is that a thing? Did you meet many new friends at the meetup? Yeah, dude. I just love doing those meetups. It's always I always feel bad because some people seem like they're really nervous and like they're hesitant to talk to me, and I have so many people that aren't that way, that are way more aggressive with like, hey Paul, can you sign this? Hey Paul, can you take this? Hey Paul, I want to talk to you, blah blah blah. That I always feel bad that I didn't get to everybody. You know what I mean? I try though. I always try and like take a pause, scan around, look if there's anybody kind of standing there looking like, you know, and ask them, hey, you want a picture or what? Come on, man, let's do it. But it's hard. But I really love doing that, man. And I got there's a little person, a dwarf, whatever. I think he prefers little person. That has come to a couple of our meetups now. He was there. He's my dude. So he and I chilled on and off all night. I mean, it was awesome. I got his phone number. He put his phone number in my phone. Don't be mean. Don't use that. I don't like that word. Especially now that I got a friend that is, you know, he's a little person. You hugged like 80% of the dudes there. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, dude. I did nothing pretty much all night after the show and before the show. The VIP meetup was basically just hugs and pictures and handshakes and introductions and all that shit. And then after the show, I did nothing but wander around, be handed, like, it was so great. Like, inside, I couldn't stand there for 10 seconds without somebody bringing me a drink. And then I'd go like, oh, I'm going to go outside so I can vape. And I'd walk right out in front to the smoking section. And it was just like an endless procession of J's and pipes. And like some dude had a little like water pipe there, passing that around, vape pens. And man, dude, the THC level in my blood must have been fucking off the charts that night. I'm a pretty heavy weed indulger, but goddamn. But, you know, I mean, I remained conscious and shit. Oh, Zoe loved the video. Good, I'm glad. I remember doing that. I remember you earlier, I think at the P portion, you asked me if I could do something for her, but I ended up getting pulled all away. So later in the night, I left her a message or some shit. Ooh. overdose is super deadly. Be careful, yeah, dude. It's so deadly that everybody in history has known how deadly it is, and nobody has ever gone that far. It was a lot of fun, man. I wish I could just do that, honestly. If we could make this show just actually live and, 6 or 8 months a year, all we did was tour the world and just do the show at different cities and shit, I would do that. In a heartbeat. There's something way different about being in front of people who are into your shit, you know what I mean? Then you can't like get a facsimile of that online. I see 200 of you in here. There are close to 200 people at the meetup, but the feeling is way different. If I was in front of 200 of you live right now, you'd be getting a totally different show. The energy would be totally different, and you can't change that. You have to kind of fake it to do these other shows, and I think all three of us is really adept at doing that, at remembering that we are technically in front of thousands of people. So it's like, but the energy in the room, man, is awesome. The first time I ever smoked, I took 12 hits of a joint and I didn't overdose. I just said, well, yeah, panic attack. I mean, look, dude, everybody's got to handle their own shit, but you're not gonna fucking die from weed. You literally could not consume enough weed to get to a lethal dose of it. You would pass out way before you got to a lethal dose of weed. I mean, you'd have to. It's just obscene what the lethal dose of THC is. So it just, I'm good at working really, really high. I mean, I've trained for years and years and years. Being a drunken peasant, especially, it's just like you have to get used to the fact that your red light performance happens while there's a giant fucking joint being smoked. I just, I do well with that. But I saw some other people there that were way, because people get there and like the inhibitions are down and they're around people that are like them and that are into the same shit that they are. And it's just like, boom. It's like the top comes off for some of them. They're just smoking and drinking, and then all of a sudden they're just like spinning two different directions. And like, you're like, oh, fuck, man. Oh, shit, Miel, thanks for the fake $5. First time I smoked weed, it tasted like shit because I'm in Ireland. Oh, that sucks. I hate to hear that, man, because I really want to smoke a joint in Ireland once, but I guess Irish weed sucks. I dream you were doing a Highdeology when instead of talking into your phone, you were talking into an ant farm. Okay, that's cool. My old friend got high at my other friend's house one night, and he had a panic attack and ran to his house, which is only half a kilometer away. Yeah, dude, I've seen people, like, I've been around people, and I've actually had really, really fucking bad weed panic attacks before. But once you've had one and you realize what it was, which was just your brain interpreting mixed signals from your body on a fucking, I mean, that's the key to not having a bad trip on acid. You know what I mean? Well, for me, that's a double thing. Like, number one, if you're going to take acid, you need to know what acid does to you, and you need to know that you're going to see some shit and experience some shit that's unusual, and maybe even a little disturbing. If you prepare yourself for that, you're not going to have a bad trip, and you don't take too much. So, like me, a lot of people like to high dose LSD or whatever the fuck, but the acid has never been kayfabe. Any show that we've said that we've done acid and stuff, that's absolutely true. I do. I love psychedelics. So if I tell you guys I'm on acid or insinuate that I'm on acid or something, it's 99.9% true, probably. Yeah, don't start with 10 tabs. Don't even start with more than one tab. Take the first time you take acid, take a tab. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Depending on the acid, I usually take one tab. My limit is two, even for weak ass fucking shit ass acid. Because you know what? Like, I would rather have a fucking mellow ass trip that isn't as peaky as I wanted it to be than have a fucking crazy over the top draining ass scary trip. But people just have to do shit responsibly. You know what I mean? Anywhere you go, the bar shit is the same thing. Like I said, it's not like the most horrible thing in the world to puke at a bar. Like, it's not the most embarrassing thing in the world, but it's just not something you're ever going to catch me doing. I know how to not, you know what I mean? I know when my body is like, all right, and that's enough drinks. So mushrooms are great too. I love. They're both very different. So, whatever. We always end up having these fucking drug discussions here. People are interested in it, I guess. All right. Will someone in the chat please say what the incident was? No more bullshit. Well, man, go back and watch the first part of this. I explained. I walked you through everything. I gave you my official statement on it, and that's all I'm talking about. And that's all you're getting. And you can take it or leave it, but it's just not happening. Yo, Paul Zio, what's up with that guy getting banned from your Patreon for? I have no fucking idea, dude. I was talking on the fucking subreddit about it. I've been gone for a fucking week. I've been on vacation. I've been doing a live show. I haven't been tuned into anything. And then all of a sudden I come back and I see my name being dropped and all these threads about some patron that got banned. I don't know a fucking thing about it. I don't know if he's trolling. I don't know if he's an actual patron. I don't know why he got banned. I don't know if he got banned. And like, it's just ridiculous, like how people go completely off the fucking deep end. I know nothing about it. I don't ban people anywhere but here. That's it. If I banned you, it was here. I don't go into the fan communities and ban people. I'm not banning patrons. I don't know if one of the other guys did, but to be quite frank with you, after looking at how people fucking freaked out, I don't give a fuck. I know I didn't do it, so take it up with somebody else. But yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be evasive with that shit. I just don't know. I've been gone for a fucking week. Been in California for a week. And banning people from anything was not on my agenda. I had other shit to do. I believe we pre-recorded, like tonight, you guys, the patrons got a show, I believe. And then I believe we pre-recorded a Monday show. Scotty is out of town again. He had plans with Taylor, so they're out of town for a few days right now. So yeah, I think we pre-recorded through Monday, so you guys will get the last pre-recorded show on Monday. In the meantime, we're getting the studio where it needs to be, and we should be back live in front of you for Flash Friday next Wednesday. And then yeah, so next Wednesday and then next Friday will be our live show for patrons, and then we're back on the saddle. So, yep. Satanic Panic was tonight. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I remember. That one was fun. I like how chat constantly makes you explain yourself for the littlest thing. I know. It is what it is, though, dude. The chat is a beast. The chat is a beast that must be tamed. And I'm the beast tamer. I am the beast tamer. I've been okay, man. I've been okay since the meetup. It's draining. I'm still fucking bonked out. Just go. Even the relaxing stuff is exhausting. Walking up and down the beach all day in the fucking sun is not, not hard labor or anything, but when it's coming on the tail end of just no sleep and travel, drive, travel, new hotel, checkouts at 11, like 1 week of that is like, so it's my first full day back home. Had a production meeting with the guys today for a couple hours, and then everybody's just bonked, man. We're just all like, fuck it, let's just go home and rest. Scotty's going out of town, like I said, so. What's it like living in Louisiana? It's like living anywhere else, honestly. I mean, every state has its own flavor, at least every state that I've lived in, but you got to be here to understand it. Like, for a tourist, this is pretty much like anywhere else you're going to be. The roads are a little shittier. The weather's a little shittier, in my opinion. Constant humidity, constant heat, but some people are. I'm way more acclimated to that, dude. We went to Fresno and Madera, where I'm from, and it was like 104, 105, 106 on and off that day. And the people that lived there were just like, "Ooh, oh God, it's so hot. I'm so," like we took our rental car back and shit, and the lady was like, "Oh my God, it's so hot." Me and Ashley were like, "Yeah, I mean it's hot, but we were chilling." Like, it's dry and shit, so the humidity index is so fucking low Even when it's up there, like the 20% humidity there is like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And to us, it's just like, wow, this is nice. So I've definitely acclimated to Louisiana because it was like I just didn't get hot in California, even when on a hot day. Even when we was on the coast, it's not hot. It was like 60s and 70s in Pismo, but once I got inland into the valley, it was 106 degrees, and I didn't bat an eyelash at it because it was all dry. So I don't know, man. It was fun. The flight yesterday was a fucking nightmare. If you follow me on Twitter, you've heard that shit, but I'll give you the Cliff's notes. So I fly quite a bit for my job. I've flown a lot over the last 3 years, a bunch of different airlines, and I'm actually smaller now. I've lost weight on the keto diet and shit, so I'm 30 pounds or so smaller than the last time I flew. So everybody's saying you're too fat. It's just like I'm less fat. But they've done something in these fucking planes where it's like they've managed to squeeze in one more row or something. Does that make any sense? So they've taken like a 3 inches from each seat and made a new row. And I sat down in this fucking seat, and already, like, before the dude that was sitting in front of me kicked his chair back, my knees were right up against a metal bar that was bracing the back of his seat. And I mean, not just sitting there, pressed hard, like hard enough it was cutting up like, and then when that dude kicked back, it was over. I literally had negative leg room. And once again, I'm a fat fuck. I'm not going to be comfortable in economy. I've flown economy a bunch of times. It always sucks, but this was something else again, man. I've never been so crammed into a seat that my legs, like my feet were falling asleep. I would have to like dislodge one leg and put it out in the aisle, and then I'd have to dislodge another one. And thankfully, Ashley's the one sitting next to me in the middle seat, and have her move her legs over a little bit so I could stretch that leg and then put them back, wait for my fucking feet to go to sleep again. It's like, that's retarded. And I'm not hugely obese, and I'm not fucking hugely tall either. I'm taller than the average dude, but I'm 6 foot, 6'1" on a good day. That's pretty, like, there's millions of dudes every day flying that are that height. And this is femur length problems, not, I'm not even bitching about the width thing. That's always been a nightmare, but it's doable. But this no leg room shit, it's the last. I mean, like, if I have to fly American because there's no other airline that'll get me there, I'll do it, I guess. But I'm not booking with them anymore. I'll pay an extra 40 or $50 and fly another airline because fuck them. TJ was on a different flight, so airlines cut costs by reducing the amount of flights and squeezing people. Yeah, no, I know exactly what's going on. I just think it's retarded. I think they should have to at least provide a minimum level of, like, I shouldn't have to sit there with my feet going to sleep because my circulation is being cut off because they've removed so much leg room from the economy class that a 6 foot dude can't sit there with his legs together and ride out a fucking flight. It's fucked up. Just take a private jet. You already have hundreds of dollars of other people. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Let's start doing a Patreon push for a DFF private jet, dude. We want a Gulfstream 8. And if you make a vow of faith tonight to the DFF gods, then we will make that Gulfstream happen. And then we will be able to come to you and bring the word to you and travel all over this world and spread the joy and love of DFF. Yeah, I wish that worked on non-religious people. But it don't. Well, I guess it kind of does sometimes. Well, if you had salad every day, you would be able to fly comfortably. No. If I ate salad every day, I still would have been horribly uncomfortable on that flight because I would have been a skinny 6'1" dude sitting there with his knees crammed against the back seat and his feet going to sleep. Paul is a devil practicing Satan tongue-wielding necromant. Necromant. Okay. Last time I was on a plane, it was so cramped and uncomfortable. An old dude who smelled like shit literally fell asleep on me. It was hell. Oh yeah, dude. Flying on a plane, especially in economy class, is always a nightmare. It's always gonna be a nightmare. I don't care what size you are. Nobody's comfortable in that plane. I'm just saying, like, There are 6 foot dudes and women out there that fly every fucking day, and it's like you gotta provide a modicum. Like TJ, I'm sorry, he's an outlier. He's 6'7". He has to buy extra leg room and shit. Like I understand that you can't provide, like you can't have leg room for an 8 foot dude. You know, not every fucking body type and size and shit can be accommodated for. I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like 6 feet tall is freaky tall. I see a lot of dudes that are my height at the airport getting on the same planes I'm getting on, doing the same shit I'm doing. I wasn't the only 6 foot tall dude on that flight with his knees going to sleep and his feet going to sleep because they were just he was so sandwiched into that shit. It just fucked up, man. And I was pissed too because Ashley didn't want me to make a scene, but I'm just like whispering to her, and I'm just like, she's like, just be quiet, don't make a scene. And I'm like, man, fuck these people. It's like these fucking sheep flying in here that don't say anything about this. They're the reason that this happens. Because they see it year after year. They come back and the chairs are smaller and the fucking leg rooms has disappeared almost completely, and they let it happen. And nobody ever gets mad because they just want to get off the plane and go home. And I understand that. But it's like, that ain't me. I'm sorry, dude. If you horse fuck me, you charge me out the ass for a fucking plane ticket already. And then you horse fuck me by throwing me like a cow in the back of a truck that's too small, like fuck you. I don't know, dude. And I'm not asking to like, in a plane, kick my feet up and have some bitch fanning me. I'm fine with sitting like this, not trying not to touch the dude next to me and shit. I'm okay with that. I understand. I'm a fat fuck. You got to do it. Do it. Keep my legs together so I'm not man spreading and putting my leg up against somebody that don't want to be touched. I can do it. I shit you not. I've done it my whole life. But what I can't do is do that while my legs are asleep because I'm so fucking up against the seat in front of me that I can't fucking feel them. Like, fuck that shit. Well, I mean, you can get the kick your feet up and have a bitch fanning you, but it costs thousands of dollars to fly that way. You know what I mean? You get a private jet, rent a stripper, have her come on the jet with you, bada bing. Lay in the bed in the private jet, have that bitch sit there and fan you and feed you grapes like you're a Roman fucking emperor or some shit. I mean, you can do that. I just don't got the money to do that. Sit sideways, I can't do that. See, here's the thing. The most room in an economy class seat is the aisle seat. That's because when the plane's in flight and nobody's trying to get by, it allows you to kick your leg out there. But it's a temporary thing because somebody's always going by. People wait till they get on the plane to take a shit. I don't understand it. Like, I can go 3 hours of any fucking day without taking a piss or a shit or jerking off or whatever it is. I cannot even go into a bathroom, take a 3 hour chunk of any day, and I cannot go to the bathroom. But I shit you not, it is like as soon as the fucking seatbelt light goes off in a plane, it's like a pilgrimage or some shit. It's like everybody wants to shit on the tiny little stinky air toilet, and I don't understand why. So even that is such little respite for me because I can get one leg and kick it out without encroaching on the poor person sitting next to me. But what, 5 seconds until some fucking old granny comes waddling by? She's been saving up a fucking 3 week bowel movement for this plane. Sorry, seatbelt lights off, heading to the toilet. And then there's an endless procession of people with their children, grown ass men, fucking. Just like, you sat there at the gate for like an hour and a half waiting to board this flight. There was a shitter right across from the gate. Why didn't you go dump ass before you got on the plane? I can understand if it's an 8 hour flight or a 6 hour flight or something. Nature calls, but a less than 3 hour flight, and there's an endless procession of people heading to the back of the plane to dump ass. Why? Why? You tell me. I'm at a loss. I can't answer it. Maybe they were running late. Maybe two or three of them were running late. I'm there at the gate. I see these people milling around for an hour and a half. People don't do that. Yeah, some people do. There's always a few people that show up last minute. And sure, maybe they're the shitters. But there's no way. I'm there at the gate. I see these fucking people. They're there as long as I am. Most of them are there before I get there. I managed to walk across and go take a shit. I managed to go take a leak, and I managed to sit there in my fucking chair for 3 hours and not inconvenience the fucking people that are sitting in these fucking aisle seats trying to get a little leg room. Because I know how to take a dump in an actual facility that isn't at 30,000 feet and built for a toddler. Fuck them. Why are they doing it? There's no excuse. There's no excuse. Except for, I like dumping on a plane. Anyway, fucking flying is always like that, though. I mean, it just is what it is. Maybe the toilet is more roomy. No, it isn't, though. That's the thing. I think they make it that way. The toilet is way more. It's less comfortable. Like if for a tall dude, you'd think, oh, I'll go sit on the toilet for a few minutes and rest these fucking weary bones. But that ain't happening. Not in an airplane toilet. Not in a 737 toilet anyway. It's been a long time since I've been on a big jetliner, like a big 787 or some shit. But on your normal, like 3-4 hour flight commuter plane, you can barely sit on it. Like you have to cram both of your legs to the side and kind of one cheek it and sit that cheek on the edge of the toilet and use your fucking weight to peel your butt cheeks open and get your butthole over the void, and then you gotta take a dump, like sitting like this. God, and your fucking legs are crammed in between the sink and the wall, you know what I mean? And there's no room there. So, trust me, it's not fucking comfortable. So that ain't it. People aren't going in there to fucking chill. They're just waiting to fucking dump ass or empty their bladders until they're at 30,000 feet and have to make this wobbly walk down an aisle filled with people that all hate them because they got to pull their fucking legs back in, move their shoulders over so they don't touch some stinky old fuck heading to the back. You know what I mean? I'm way too worked up. I need to slow my roll here for a minute. Turbulence in the bathroom. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to be up and in the shitter. It's not a comfort thing. Maybe like some of these, like I know for a fact, I've gone to the bathroom on a plane before to hit the vape a couple of times, especially since I've been vaping. And they say not to do it, but if you're not stupid about it, like I don't go in there and rip the fattest cloud that I can. I'm like, blowing it under the door and shit. I take a couple of hits and I hold it in until most of the water vapor is dissipated, and then I let it out. I sit on the toilet for a minute, get a little nicotine in my system, and nobody's ever the wiser. I walk out, it smells like a good smelling girl was in there. It smells like strawberry cheesecake or some shit. And they're like, that's better than shit. But I'm never in there shitting. Ever. Never, ever. I mean, I guess if I had a 5-alarm shit, I'd go do it. But see, I do the 5-alarm shit before I get on the plane. Yeah, I'm shitting in the sky, but really you're not. You're just shitting into a big tank that's in the sky. You know what I mean? I guess. I don't know, dude. Airplane food is a mixed bag. And I really haven't flown enough on all the different airlines to tell you, but I'm telling you, I have had the most rubbery, disgusting shit on planes, and I've had actual decent meals on planes. And we're not talking about like a wild difference in quality or price either. It just depends. Like sometimes the shit you get on the plane, I mean, it's always overpriced for sure. But what I'm saying is like sometimes the shit you get on the plane is exactly what you'd expect. It's rubbery and microwaved and reheated tasting and processed and flavorless and mushy and all that shit. But every once in a while, you'll get on a plane and there'll be something on the menu and you'll be hungry and you'll want to pay $10 or $12 for a fucking sandwich. It's probably worth $3. And you'll get it and it's pretty good. Like it's actually edible. It's crispy and fresh tasting and whatever. You know what I mean? You just never know though. It's a roll of the dice on a plane. Years ago, I got an uncharacteristically good pizza on a Qantas flight. It should have been way worse than airline food. Yeah, see, every once in a while it happens. You never know. Oh, dude. So me and Ashley had a two-stage flight yesterday because we were flying out of Fresno, and Fresno's kind of a small airport. There's not a lot of direct flights out of it. I mean, there's direct flights to super major cities, but there's usually not a direct flight to New Orleans. So we end up having to go to either Arizona or Dallas usually, and this time it was Dallas Fort Worth. So we deplaned and got back on the new plane, and I'm telling you, dude, the bitch that was sitting in front of me, I ended up in the window seat this time because it was either the window or the middle. And Ashley's so nice; she always takes the middle because she understands. Like she's smaller, so it's just going to be way more comfortable for her than me. But the window seat's fucking nightmare for a big dude. So I'm just crammed, just like, oh, I got my head up against the wall, and I'm like, oh, please let this be over. The bitch that was sitting in front of me, just a big black lady. She smelled like I'm trying to, because I was sitting there in the fucking plane with nothing to do but bask in her odor, right? Because you can't get away from it. She's sitting right in front of you. So I have the fucking little stupid air thing blowing right on my face, hoping it blows away most of her fucking funk, but it isn't. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, if this is my life for the next 3 hours, smelling this big fat bitch's BO or whatever the fuck, I need to figure out what it is it smells like because it doesn't smell like straight up BO. There's something else. Like there's a little hint of rancid fucking BO here, but the bigger part of this is something else. And what I landed on was salami. Like when you buy an aged salami that's wrapped and you open it that first time and it's salami, so the smell hits you and you're like, oh, that's kind of like a fart, but I know it's salami, I know it's meat, and I know it's gonna taste way better. So it's actually kind of it's okay. It's like that. It's like a aged salami smell mixed with sweat and a little hint of BO. And she was just reeking of it the whole flight. And her fucking air thing was pointed at her face, so it's just blowing her reek at me, right? And I'm passing it along. The dude sitting behind me probably thought it was me that smelled like salami because I'm doing the same shit. I've got my fucking air thing pointed at my head. So her stink is getting carried on the jet stream to the poor fuck sitting right behind me. And and of course he's looking at me thinking I'm the one that smells like aged fucking meat. You know what I mean? And it ain't. It's coming from right up. And trust me, the source was not in question. It just smelled like lunch meat and BO. And I had to bask in that. At least that's a short flight. Dallas Fort Worth to New Orleans is only an hour in the air. But it was an hour long marination in some big bitch's fucking BO. And somehow she manages to smell like fucking lunch meat. I don't know, dude. I don't know how you manage to smell like lunch meat. That's my thing. Like, I get it. People stink. Maybe she's in the fucking airport all day. She's got some BO. I probably didn't smell fresh as a daisy. But man, to just give off a constant reeking odor of lunch meat, that's a whole different fucking ball of wax to me. Had the worst day in years today. Thanks for providing an escape from the shittiness. You dudes are my heroes. Oh, thanks, G Burns. I'm sorry to hear about your day, and I'm sorry to pull you up out of the shittiness. I'm describing how shitty everything else is. But whatever. If it's helping, it's helping. I appreciate the contribution, my friend. Should have just taken a bus. Nah. See, man, you don't understand the reason why people are willing to be treated like cattle is because currently there's no other way in the world to get from fucking New Orleans to LA in 3 hours and change. There's no bullet train, there's no bus. So people are willing to put up with a lot of fucking bullshit because it's just a skip the line way to travel long distances. A bus is reeking, hot, overpopulated, stinky, just like a fucking plane is, but it takes, like, I would have been on a bus for like 12 hours or more to get from fucking New Orleans to Los Angeles. So 12 hours on a bus or 3 hours smelling a bitch that smells like bologna and not being able to feel my feet. Or doing all of that, maybe minus the dead feet on a bus. I've done long bus trips. I just know that like there's a reason why people fly. I would take a bus. I mean, I was actually considering taking a bus to the first New Orleans meetup when I was living in San Antonio because I just didn't want to fucking fuck with that nightmare drive, but I ended up driving it. How annoying are kids to you on flight? It depends on the kids. Like before this last flight that I was telling you about, the one from Dallas to New Orleans, there was this pair of kids, brother and sister. I don't know how old they were, 10 or 11 or something, that age. And they were running around and screaming and hooting and hollering. And I'm just sitting there like, and now once again, it's not bothering me because they're all over the terminal, but I'm just like, these kids are going to be sitting near me and they're going to do this the whole flight and I'm going to want to kill them and oh, fuck me. But luckily, those kids have a good mom because she was sitting like 2 seats down in the lobby, right, waiting to board the plane. And when they started to board, she pulled those fucking kids aside. This is to her credit, man. Good mom right here. She pulled those kids aside and she said, "You two need to understand something. It's okay that you got a little energy out here and stuff, but when we get on this plane, you are going to have to be quiet and respectful. None of these other people want to hear you yell or scream or giggle or any of that. None of them are going to be doing that. So you're not going to be doing that. So you need to start settling down because they're poor." And I was like, oh, it was like the fucking heavens opened up. I was like, a real mother. Oh my God, they do exist. You know, so that ended up being fine. And we were sitting near those kids. We were 3 rows behind them and they didn't make a peep. I mean, they did. I mean, I heard them a couple, but it wasn't crazy. It was fucking normal shit. And I'm fine with that. It's like a good parent came out of the fucking blue. You know what I mean? Wow. A parent that is actually considerate of the fact that nobody else cares about her kids and doesn't want to hear their bullshit and has them act appropriately in public. Oh. It is rare though. I've been on flights. I mean, sometimes you can't help it. Look, dude, I've gone on rants before about how they need to have a thing called Kinder Air, where it's like for people that have toddlers and little kids, so that they're all flying, you know what I mean, on one thing. And they can make it fun. They could have like the fucking stewardesses dress up like clowns and have party balloons and shit and whatever the fuck, so that other people don't have to deal with your children in flights because it's too much. Like if it was just the kid and the flight otherwise was relatively comfortable, you had a little bit of elbow room, you got a little bit of stretching room on your legs, you can read and you're comfortable and the temperature's good. If all of that was in place and there were screaming kids every once in a while, what are you gonna do? Put your headphones on. But all of the other litany of fucking horse shit that you put up with flying, children are just too much. There's no more room in the horse shit bowl. You know what I mean? It's already heaped. It's already dripping down the sides. If you put one more scoop of horse shit on there, it's gonna fall apart. And all the horse shit's gonna come fucking oozing out of the bowl, and then we're fucked. There's no room for your screaming fucking progeny on a plane. People are too on the edge. People have been in the fucking airport all day. They've been strip searched, had their balls grabbed by the TSA, knowing how ineffectual it is. Waited in line all day for that. Sat at the fucking gate, worrying about how fucking uncomfortable they were going to be for the next 3 or 4 hours once they got to board. And then sat there and boarded, and then sat there in their fucking tiny little seats next to some sweaty fat dude like me who's ranting and raving about how bad it sucks. And the lady in front of you smells like baloney. It's just like your children are too much. Unless you're a good mom like that one was and have control over your kids and tell them when it's appropriate to be children and when it's appropriate to be seen and not heard. If people are willing to take responsibility for their children and have children that are, I guess, whatever the word is, neurotypical, they don't have some kind of disorder that makes them scream, that's okay. But like if you've got a kid that you don't have control over or that has a, you know, ASD or some shit that makes them fucking a handful, I mean, there just ought to be a fucking airline for you. I covered the meetup and what happened there at the beginning of this, like in the first 10 minutes or so. I think Coolman might clip it for me or somebody might. But anyway, yeah, go watch that. I don't want to talk about it all night. And you're probably not going to get all the answers you want, but if you're a smart enough person, you'll be able to put the pieces together, and hopefully that'll sate your curiosity. People shouldn't travel with children. I don't think that's true. I mean, people with kids have got to go places too. I just think there ought to be an airline for people with children because there's so many children flying. Why isn't there an airline out there that specializes in people with children and accommodates that, makes it a little more comfortable for people with children, put some amenities in there that aren't available in normal planes because there's just not space. Let people pay 20 bucks extra for their tickets if they want to fly on a flight with other kids that has stuff that's made for kids. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like a smart thing to do because honestly, like, I understand. Not everybody feels the way I do. I don't really like other people's kids. I'm good around kids as far as talking to them and stuff, but I don't want to be around them all that long. I don't want kids of my own really all that much anymore, and I definitely don't want other people's kids around me all that often. I just don't care to deal with the bullshit that comes with being a parent. And so I understand that. I come into it with that bias, and other people don't feel that way. You know, there are people that really like kids and like having them around. They have their own. They keep having them. I can't change that in them any more than they can change me. But people with children need to understand that when we all live cheek by jowl in a modern society, we're living next to and on top of one another, that their children are an imposition on other people in social situations. When you bring your screaming child into a public place that other people can't escape, like a concert or the airport, you're doing a disservice to every human being that's around you because the cry of a child is a naturally grating thing. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to garner attention. It's for the parents to deal with, not everybody that's fucking sitting in the terminal at LAX, right? So I'm not a totally like ban them from flying, but there really needs to be a movement of responsibility in this country when it comes to children and social acceptability and social fucking norms in public because really it's beyond just politeness. It's beyond rudeness. It's you're actually imposing a distressing situation on potentially hundreds of other people that are surrounded doing the same thing that you're doing, but none of them have a screaming toddler that won't shut up. You have that, and you are making life more uncomfortable for literally everybody in earshot of that. And parents get offended when I talk about shit like that because they're like, well, fuck you, kids crying, blah 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 blah. And I understand that, dude. I get it, but it's just like there's a difference. I'll give you an example. Very recently, I don't even remember what restaurant it was at. Oh, you know what? It was the Chinese restaurant that me and Ashley went to down here. Fucking Empress or whatever the fuck it is. Um, and there was a lady in there who had brought a little kid, like a toddler, 2 or 3 or some shit like that, right? And the kid started crying. And I was like, I did the same thing I did at the airport. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go, man. Dinner ruined, screaming kid. You know what she did? She picked the kid up and she quietly left the restaurant and went out front and calmed him down and then brought him back and they ate a meal. I don't think that's too much to ask. That's all. Disney themed flights seem like a no brainer. Once took a Greyhound where some dude whipped out his scarred, empty sack to show me something I never wanted to see. That's gross. But yeah, Disney flights I think already happen. I think you can book vacations with Disney and they've got their own like Mickey Mouse airplane that you take out of a major airport and it's got fun stuff and you get ears on it and you watch Disney movies while you're in the air. I think they already do that shit, but I'm just talking about an established airline because I look around. I just spent all day yesterday in fucking airports and then a week before that on the exact same day of the week I spent all day that day in airports and let me tell you, dude, there's a lot of fucking children flying. They're everywhere. Of all shapes and sizes, of all ages and temperaments, they're everywhere. They're just as numerous as people almost in airports. Maybe not quite, but I'm just saying, like, they're just numerous as people, like kids aren't people. You see my bias. But, I don't know, dude. I just think that there's so many times where people just seem to think, like, well, I've got a kid, so fuck you. You got to deal with it too, because kids crying. I'm like, no, fuck you. Like there should be like a huge responsibility movement in parenting and shit when it comes to like just teaching kids how to navigate society so they're not in position. Because I'm not even talking about like being fucking polite. That's a whole different layer. I think kids should learn that too. But like I'm talking about just not being a burden on other people as they go about their business because they're trying to do the same thing. Most people when they go out to like a public place like a mall where they know it's going to be busy, they're there to get what they want and get the fuck out. And they don't want to make it hard for anybody else. And they hope they've got their fingers crossed that nobody makes it hard for them. They just want to go to their store and wait in whatever line they got to wait in and get their item and then get back to their car and get the fuck out. I'm one of those people. I think most people are like that in crowded areas, especially like airports. And when you have children in areas like that, you need to understand that there's a stress level and you're just adding to it by being a bad parent and not taking responsibility for your screaming fuck. So pick it up, take it into the bathroom. So at least you're only inconveniencing people who are trying to shit and they're trying to get out of there as quick as possible anyway because it's a fucking airport bathroom. They don't want to be there. And then you've cordoned it off so that the whole terminal's not hearing the screaming. You calm the kid down, you bring it back. I mean, I don't understand. Like, it just seems simple, but maybe it isn't. I've never had kids. I've been responsible for kids in public. I was married. I had a niece and nephew. We used to watch all the time, take them places. They never did any of this shit. If one of them started crying, we picked him up and took him outside. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm pretty much right. I was on a 6 hour flight where this baby cried for about 5 hours of it, probably because of the achy ear thing kids get. That's why I mean Kinder Air. They could have like a little soundproof booth around each fucking thing that could be pulled down or whatever the fuck. So when kids are screaming, it's muffled and everybody's got headphones, they're watching Disney. They could make it comfortable for the people that have children and for the people who don't. Yeah. They should just put babies, like make sure they're fed and changed before they do it, but just put them in a soundproof cylinder that has an oxygen tube going in it, screw the lid on it, and put them in the fucking luggage. Now, I know it sounds mean, but what's the worst thing that happens? It lays there and cries for 2.5 hours? What was it going to do if it wasn't on a plane? I'm just kidding. I don't want to put. I'm just joking, by the way. I feel the need to specify that one as a joke. Only just a little bit of a joke, though. How about just throw them off the plane? Little baby parachute. There you go. There you go. Just kid the kids. Yeah, man, give them a hot toddy. That's an old school motherfucker right there. Give the kids a swig of Jack Daniels. That's called a hot toddy, man. And that's exactly what people used to do back in the day before they knew how dangerous alcohol was. You had a crying kid that you had to take out somewhere and you wanted to make sure it was nice and docile. Give it a little swig of whiskey. It goes, and it cries a little bit, but then the whiskey kicks in and it's like, and you're just like, all right, there we go. I got a hot toddy once. It was not common practice when I was a kid, even though it was an age ago that I was a kid. But I got one once from an uncle of mine. And I had a sore throat. I'd gotten like yet another like ear infection. I had a lot of those as a kid. Ear infection, sinus infection, throat infection. I was just really prone to like colds and runny noses and shit. I was feeling like shit. And my mom was over at my Aunt Barbara's house and we're just chilling there. And my uncle heard that I was getting sick, coming down with it. And he's like, I'm just gonna give him a hot toddy. And my mom was like, no, 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 he'll be fine. I gave him some whatever. And he was like, Darlene, listen, give him a hot toddy. So he fucking brought it over to me and gave me, he's like, here, take a swig of this. And I was like, ooh, cool. And then I was like, and I went and I laid down in, a bed, one of the spare bedrooms or some shit, and I slept. And the next day, guess what? I didn't have a fucking, I was fine. I wasn't sick. Woke up feeling better. So whatever, I guess maybe it works. I don't recommend doing it, but I'm just saying, a hot toddy will work. Maybe they need to come up with some kind of baby alcohol. Oh, am I going down the wrong path here? Maybe. I don't know. Call it like toddler shots or some shit. Yeah, baby booze. Jack Daniels Jr. Joselito Cuervo. I don't know. And just like put a database on it so that parents can only buy it like a certain amount of times a year, and they got to fill out a form saying why. Oh, I'm taking my kid to the goddamn fucking airport next week, and I need some goddamn fucking baby JD to give it to him so that he doesn't drive everybody crazy. And I haven't done this year, and they look at it and they cross-reference the fucking database, and they're like, okay, yeah, this dude isn't buying baby booze all the time, so here you go, sir. Have a nice flight. And the dude grabs his baby booze and he walks out and he says, the people that are riding with me, thank you. Yeah, just sever surgically the vocal cords of all newborn infants until they're about a year old, and then just sew them back up. Put it all back together again, whatever. Right? That could be done. Benadryl, yeah, I got Benadryl when I was a kid, or NyQuil, or whatever the fuck, and that's basically doing a hot toddy. Like, you give your kid NyQuil, you may as well just give him a shot of Jim Beam or some shit. I mean, it's just a bunch of alcohol and sugar absorbing its annual beach salt. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I did. I absorbed the salt from the sea and replenished my stocks. Lock them in the luggage bin. Yeah, put them in that fucking, hermetically sealed, oxygenated pill that's soundproof. Screw the top on it. Put them in the storage. Have a little window in there so you can open it up and check on them and wave on it if you want to get up, once the seatbelt sign goes off, and look at them. But whatever, Nobody's hearing it. The kid's fine. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't throw a kid in a soundproof sarcophagus unless they could make it real safe, and then at that point the kid probably wouldn't even care. Like, line it like futuristically. Maybe they could line it with a bunch of like a 3D image of their mother going do 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 do. Everybody could record that, and they just loop that over and over so it looks like their mom is feeding them and shit. You know what I mean? But really, they're just in a soundproof coffin so that nobody has to hear their bullshit. I mean, kids don't know shit. All this shit like, they're gonna know that they're in a coffin. That's awful. It's like, kids don't know shit. Kids know less than a fucking lizard. They're just like, like, that's what's going on in a kid's brain. Like, when we're talking like a baby, a newborn or a fucking toddler. It's just like, like, that's the whole thing that's going in their head. That's it. That's the dialogue. So they don't know shit. You can make it nice for them. Aren't coffins airtight? Well, that's what I said. It's oxygenated. So to have a hose, with a little oxygen tank that feeds them, keeps the air in there oxygenated properly, filters it nice, keeps the temperature. I want them to be comfortable. I don't want to just throw them in a hole. Like I said, line the fucking inside of the sarcophagus. We'll call it the baby sarcophagus. Line the inside of the sarcophagus with, a curved LED screen, and then have a life-sized picture of mom going, "Hey baby, you want you boo 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 boo?" You can even have her like, "I'm gonna tickle your feet," and then have like a little robot that comes out and goes. Brrr. What if they shit? I mean, like babies shit all the time. But like, okay, yeah, if they shit, maybe you take their diaper off and their little butt is just sitting in like a reservoir where the shit just goes down the toilet or whatever the fuck, and then like a robot comes out and wipes their butt. The kid ain't gonna know any different, you know. When the fucking pill detects that a shit has landed in the diaper, it runs the video of mom going, "Did you make a poopy? Oh, you made a little poopy, huh, mama?" But really, what's happening is a robot is just going, and she's like, "Oh, you're all nice and clean. You feel better? You want a bottle?" And the kid's like, "Ah," and she's like, "Okay." And then she puts the bottle out, but then a robot nipple comes out, and it's like, "Poof." And the kid's like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't know any goddamn difference, and I wouldn't have to deal with it screaming ass bullshit. That's not abuse. You gonna invent this stuff? It's already been invented, just nobody's ever put it all together. This is not a new invention. I mean, they're doing this shit already. They're putting like fucking TV screens and shit, big fucking LED screens on the inside of fucking, tanning beds and fucking those, what do you call it? MRIs now. There are screens in there so you can watch things. Like, they already have this technology. Just nobody wants to fucking do it. Nobody wants to do it because it's like, oh, it's harmful to the kid. You put him in there. Because everybody wants to think about a baby as anything more than a larval human. That's what they are. They're a larva. Like, do you think the larva that you pull out of the bark knows that the fucking, you put it in another thing that feels like bark, but it's actually a fucking sarcophagus? It knows any goddamn, it doesn't care. It's a larva. Oh. That'd be quite the engineering undertaking. I mean, dude, I've seen a robot do a backflip off of a fucking 3-foot wall and land and stick it and then run away. That's all I got to say about that. You can take that to mean whatever you want. My tism hurts tonight. I'm sorry, man. I know the tism. I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I've heard through the grapevine that the tism is a terrible thing to suffer with. I fucking love the trails these rants go down. Yeah, well, whatever. You guys are just as responsible for that as me. You sick fucks. Yeah, man. And then they can use that shit to grow kids, in the future and put them on fucking like colony ships, because the only way we're going to get out of here is if we put some newborn babies or some babies that are still like, you would have to put fertilized eggs inside of these sarcophaguses, right? Let the like in a fake womb and have them born into the sarcophagus where the womb sheds off and is cleaned off and shit, and then you know what I mean? Have a virtual mommy there to wipe their butts and shit, and a robot to come out and stand them up every once in a while with once again the screen with mommy's face, baby, it's okay, boo 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 boo, whatever the fuck. And then by the time they get to Alpha Centauri or whatever, they're 30. And they've already been prepped. Like, you guys got on the fucking ships to come save humanity, and you're going to fucking Alpha Centauri, and that's it. You're gonna fucking go to a planet there, and you gotta make a new fucking world. And they'll be like, oh, all right, that's cool. And they'll do it. But we ain't gonna do that because everybody's like, oh, it's evil to do that to a baby. It's like a baby doesn't know any fucking difference. Put a mom mask on a baby, and it's like, it doesn't know what the fuck is up. I don't know though. There's a lot of shit that's backwards. Like, we're not thinking like a futuristic society yet. We're not thinking like a society that's about to burn out on this planet. We need to get off of it. We need to start thinking differently. Like, we're all stuck in our ways. We're all stuck with this like 1,000-year-old plus morality that we're all wringing our hands over and shit. And really what we need to be looking at is, how do we function as a fucking ascended species? Like, how do we make this work? How are we going to get off this rock? How are we going to treat each other in a futuristic society that isn't based on capitalistic greed and crony capitalism and vulture capitalism? Like, how are we going to live in a resource-based economy so that we're not just completely consuming everything around us? Nobody has these thoughts, or the people that do aren't listened to. Because people are just, they want the fucking, this is wrong, this is bad, I'm ashamed, I'm this, you do that, I do this, everything, and it's not working, guys. It's not working. It's certainly not going to save us. It's not the path we should be on. We got to start thinking about how we treat each other differently. We got to start thinking, we got to rethink the whole Bill of Rights, the whole thing. Everything, every one of these foundational documents, from the Bible to the Bhagavad Gita or whatever the fuck that's called, to the fucking Quran, to the constitutions of all of these countries, they all need to be relooked at, because we understand more about the world than any of these motherfuckers ever did. You want to talk about like stupidity? Now, I'm not saying that for their time they were smart, but if you brought George Washington into this world, he'd be retarded. We know way more than they knew. We have way better finger on the pulse of our fucking environment, of our political landscape. We've got hundreds and hundreds of years on the founding fathers of this country, and thousands of years on the great leaders of humanity going back into the past. We're better. But we're not acting like we're better. We're acting like they're better. Why? I'm not saying you don't have reverence for history. I'm not saying you don't appreciate the humankind that came before you and the achievements and the step ladder that led to you. But I'm just saying, why are we looking back for answers? The answers are forward. The answers are shedding all of some, maybe not all of it, but some of this shit that we've all come to believe this is how humans interact, and replacing it with something that functions in a futuristic society. But that's not the conversation we're having. I mean, that's the conversation we're having, but that's not the conversation we're having globally. The conversation we're having globally is, how do we be more like them in the past? How do we carry on our tradition? How do we take all these antiquated ideas about morality and law and make it work in this new futuristic society? How do we do it? And the answer is, you don't. You don't. The Romans, they pulled from the ancient Egyptians. I'm not saying shed everything that we've learned. I'm saying this idea that the way it is now is the way it's going to be in 20 years needs to go away. Because if the way it is now is the way it is in 20 years, you people and the children you may have are going to be living on a burnt out husk of a violent, war-torn piece of shit world. We're already done. Because, like I said, we're having this conversation, but we're not. And if that conversation happens, it'll be too late. I think it maybe already is too late, but I would say if we started now, it'd be better. If we have a new world order, it should be anarchy. That is one of the dumbest sentences that I've ever heard or read or seen typed. So congratulations. I want you to read that sentence to yourself again and ask what the major fundamental self-contradictory flaw is at the center of it. Paul is correct. One system, one world, one race. Yes. Probably too late for humanity. Yes. But Stormy Daniels, but Russiagate, but, whatever the fuck, but taxes, but this, but that. What about the fundamental question? How are we going to be here in 20 years? How are we going to be living? How are we going to deal with the population explosion? How are we going to deal with the migrant crisis? How are we going to deal with it? What are we going to be living? What are our children that are being born now going to be living like in 20 years? The answer to that question, if you look at all of the scientists that are studying the various angles, seems to be, it's going to be real bad. But nobody's talking about it like that. Everybody just thinks that their supermarket's going to be open tomorrow. And as long as it is, they don't give a fuck. As long as you can walk into the Walmart superstore and get produce for cheap, nobody gives a fuck. People will start giving a fuck when the food supply starts going. And when that happens, it's beyond too late. So, one of those things, man. One of those things. It's a little bit maddening, but it's also kind of comforting to know the truth of it. It makes dealing with whatever little time that you're here on this planet and the absurdity of that a little easier, at least for me, knowing that there's no fucking pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, that it's just not going to happen. Humanity's not going to suddenly turn on a dime and realize that all their ridiculous divisiveness and countries and borders and races and religion and all this conflict is just like accelerating the inevitable. How edgy do I think I am? Like on a 1 to 10? Like an 11, probably. The pot of gold is a united planet under the UN and science. Okay, I didn't know that. I try to live in the moment, but save money for the future. I mean, whatever. Money. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their thing. I'm not judging you for that. I'm just saying that's such a sad way to live to me. Like, oh, I'm gonna bust my ass doing shit I hate, and maybe my future will be okay. Maybe I'll get to go somewhere and do a thing or do another thing. It's like, I don't know. I gotta go get something to drink. I got the cotton mouth, something fierce. I'll be right back. Oh shit. Oh, what, Lee? You wanna go get a drink too? Yeah. Let's go. That's not bad. Coming in here? Alright. Alright, my little shadow. Alright, my little shadow. Hello? Procured myself some ice water for my parched throat. My parched throat. You just need to expand your metaphysical consciousness to cerebral heights, Paul. It's the one true way to escape the postmodernist, neo-Marxist vacuum of intellectual and integral apathy. Oh, is that all it takes? Shit, man. To back up Paul, improving the environment helps not only basic produce and trade to feed billions, such increases the GDP of every nation. All of such will diminish. Yep. I mean, I'm happy to hear that Galen's on my on the same page, or at least near the same page. But yeah. What did you think about Jordan Peterson? I'm amazed that people don't realize that he redefines terms to fit his narrative and just uses the argument from ignorance while pushing generic advice. I mean, but that's basically, that describes a whole lot of people. I mean, Peterson is hardly the first self-help guru that's gained national prominence. I mean, other names that I can think of: Deepak Chopra, Dr. Phil, Oprah herself. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. He's just that for this generation. I mean, there's always been these crackpot, self-help people that want to sell you a book or a bunch of tapes or a bunch of CDs or a bunch of, access to a website that's got resources on it so you can learn how to live your life. But it's all just bullshit. And it's always been that way. So Jordan Peterson to me is just pretty unremarkable, honestly. I mean, it's remarkable that there are young people that are buying into his shit, but there have always been young people that have listened to these fucking gurus and holy men, and you know what I mean? Like, it goes all the way back. Vanilla, yes. Oh shit. Oh shit. Marshall wants that fucking vanilla dick. Make your bed, buckaroo. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at Louisiana Paul. I just miss Pismo. Dude, fuck you. I liked Condo Paul better. Paul, write a political and ethical manifesto. I wouldn't even know where to start, dude. You guys know from watching me, and I am aware, I don't think I'm some great political mind or something. I'm just a fucking stoner talking shit. And that does not a great political manifesto make. My ideas are kind of disjointed and sometimes contradictory, but I think my heart is in the right place. But I would take everything I say with a grain of me. I heard someone say this in chat, and I realize now that it actually applies to way more people than I thought. Stay hydrated, everyone. Yes, stay hydrated. That's true. Drink your water. It's good for you. Kind of disjointed and contradictory. That's most of them. Oh, yeah, but I'm not interested in being most of them. I talk with people about what my ideas are. I don't always fully vet these ideas before I spit them out, especially not in an environment like this. This is a lab for me, so you're hearing my mind kind of unfiltered and shit. Sometimes I have some interesting ideas. Sometimes I'm way off base. Sometimes my ideas are total fantasy and completely impossible to ever bring to fruition. And sometimes I think they'd be a good path for humanity forward or a good thing to consider. But I'm not a political mind. I'm not a philosophical mind. I just don't have that drive. I don't need to be seen that way. Um, I just like talking shit. I like talking with people. I like exploring my brain and exploring other people's brains, and that's that. Not interested in that other end of things. I'm not interested in really, writing books, or at least not on that subject. If I ever wrote a book, it'd probably be a memoir. How does it make you feel when other people prop you up as something more than what you've ever purported to be? I mean, I don't know. That doesn't happen a whole lot in this fandom. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, this fandom is very, very strongly against anybody looking like they smell their own farts. So, this fandom, at least the public face of it, is way more apt to check my ego than stroke it. So I don't really get a whole lot of that. But, there are people probably that I have a place of importance in their life that maybe I shouldn't. Or maybe I fill a void in their life that it's sad that they don't have somebody that's actually there with them to fill. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But I hope that those people listen to me and when I talk like this and realize that I'm just a dude, I'm just a fucking stoner. I've worked pretty menial labor jobs my whole life. I'm not well read. I'm not well educated. Um, I'm just a dude. And I've never really tried to present myself as anything else. I mean, sometimes I talk like I'm speaking from a position of expertise or some shit, but I hope that you guys understand that, in a very real way, that's just, like I said, I treat this place like a lab, but buyer beware. Caveat emptor. Things won't improve because of the right wing ideology, Christian right, Islamic jihadist, conservatism, fascism. Those people are going to destroy humanity. Maybe. I gotta go get my charger. I'll be right back. No more. I'm not going nowhere, boo. Feel a little better. Is it still early enough to order us some food? However you want to do it. I'm not picky. I know I want to eat a little bit, but I'm sure you're probably hungry too. But whatever's closed, Wendy's or whatever, I'm fine with. We just need to make a plan what day we're gonna go shopping and just get some keto stuff, hook up our grill, get our kitchen situated so I can cook back on home. We were doing real good on that. That's really good. I know I put on probably a couple pounds at least. I ate pretty bad, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. I don't even really remember. Yeah, I don't even really remember like what, I don't know, what I weighed before. I don't remember exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm doing a Highdeology here, so beware the Tizamites.
Hey, Tizamites.
The Tizamites have assembled. The Tizamites have assembled.
She's doing so good.
Oh, yeah, she looks good. She's peeling.
Yeah.
But
I'm just
keeping her nice and
Yeah.
hydrated and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good.
I just-
Look at Ashley's a tattoo, dude.
I'm just washing it off a lot and gently.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I love it.
Don't do it, pagan. Just walk away. Just walk away. Tizamite, Tizamite, Tizamite. Weebery, yeah. Paul, would you vote for pessimist president? Or would you be pessimistic about it? I don't vote, man, because I'm just not going to get a dude. I'm way more protective of my vote than people give me credit for. I think they think that my no voting policy comes out of apathy, but it's actually the exact opposite. I'm so sick and tired of giving away something so precious as my vote in a democratic society to a piece of shit that runs contrary to my fucking interests, and that has been every political candidate since I've been old enough to vote. So I don't do it. But not out of apathy, out of a desire for a candidate that actually holds something like my ideals. And I'm not going to get that because I'm not a super pro American dude. So fuck it. I don't do it. People hate that. Like, people fucking. People look at me and they think that I'm the problem. That it's people like me who apathetically just sit home and do nothing that are causing all of this. And I just disagree, man. I'm sorry. I think it's the people that are electing these stupid fucking empty suits over and over again that are causing all of this. And I got numbers to back it up. Oh, I missed a bunch of super chats. Sorry. Let me go catch up. Let's catch up on the super chats. Man, I have missed a bunch. I wish they would just knock me out before we take off so I don't have to go through pain like surgery. Yeah, that'd be cool. Paul. Yeah, I got that one. Okay. Tokyo, Manila, Honolulu, all on a list of devastated cities caused by the Mile High tsunami created by Paul and TJ entering the ocean at Pismo Beach. Fuck you, Moppy Puppy. Dorn just made me into a banana split. Made me a banana split. No vanilla. Okay, cool. I'll tell Dorn thanks. Melon? Okay. If we manage to engage in a legitimate debate with people who disagree with us, we can make ground. We have to at least maintain the dialogue. Maybe you do. I don't feel like I have to do anything. Who should we trust when it comes to politics? Nobody. Any advice for someone getting married in an hour? You're really getting married in an hour, pagan situations? Holy shit, man. Advice for a dude that's legit getting married in an hour. Run, run, run as fast as you can, and don't ever look over your fucking shoulder until you can't sense her presence anymore. Because she wants to drink your essence, and not in a good way. She wants to drain you dry emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially, and leave you a mummied out husk of a broken man who no woman will ever want again. Run. And, that's about it. I mean, really, you can't really give specific advice. I don't know your particular relationship. Paul doesn't know your particular. Yeah, I don't. I don't know the particulars of your particular situation. You are an individual, and I can't judge you as an individual because I don't know you as an individual, and I don't know your situation or the particulars of it. So, I'm totally spooked up now, and my anniversary is coming up. In an isolated system, all natural and technological processes proceed in such a way that the availability of the remaining energy decreases. An economy based on endless growth is unsustainable. Only if endless growth is itself unsustainable. Meaning, from what we can tell, from what our scientists are able to tell us, there are just countless worlds out there that could be habitable for us, that we could land on, and they keep finding them all the time. We as human beings have not even reached critical mass on this planet in our 30,000 years. Now we're accelerating towards it, but we're not there yet. This planet could still support another few billion human beings and really be fine. So that principle only really applies, at least in my thinking, if endless expansion is also not feasible. And endless, all right, we have to agree that endless doesn't really exist, but we're talking about like in our observable little pocket of the universe. We know of hundreds, if not thousands, of planets that we could make our home, and those are just the ones that we're able to find. So you get my drift. We could create a system that was based on endless expansion and endless kind of mining and use of resources if we could also fund with those resources our ability to move outward and spread. That's really the future of humanity. We don't have a future outside of that. If we don't leave our star system, we may as well just lay down and die now, because if survival of our species and our continued influence in this universe and our continued ability to learn about this universe and harness its forces, if that's really what's at the core of our drive, then we have to get out of here. Only if there's world peace. There ain't no such thing as world peace, but peace, I think, in a general sense, could be established. Reincarnation is true. Paul comes back as a backwards Hadouken. That'd be cool. It'd be a brief life because it'd just be one backwards Hadouken. But whatever. I would burn bright, and I hope it was the start of a big fucking combo. The only planet Paul needs to hit up is Planet Fitness. Okay. Okay, that was good. That was good, but I don't want you to get a big fat head. Don't be in the fucking chat now pushing every meme like it's gonna be that good, because they're not all gonna be. You play it right though. You play it right. Play it right, you keep your status. You play it wrong, you don't. But you got me. That was a good one. Okay, it made me laugh. It was right. It was correct, as all good jokes are. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? All right, fair enough. I mean, I usually don't, but I was thinking about it and I was on the fence. I mean, whatever. You're now a specter. You're now a fucking specter, all right? Because, you dropped a hot meme. That was weak. Oh, get out of here, Jawan. You're just salty because you ain't got the wrench badge yet. Maybe one day I'll wrench you up. But, I mean, everybody in here earns the wrench. They all earn the wrench. But you're a specter now. I know what kind of specter you are, but that's for the people to figure out. I'm just the council. I just oversee. Too many mods. Too many mods. No. I mean, there's a lot of mods here now because I haven't done one of these in a while. But usually there's only one or two of my wrenches, and sometimes there's none. If I'm doing one at 5 a.m., there's a good chance I got no wrench. So I don't think I have anywhere near too many mods. Othello going to bed. All right. Well, good night. Good night. Yeah, the Dark Brotherhood, man. Hail Sithis. Ba-dum-bum-bum, ba-dum. Ba-dum-bum-bum, ba-dum-bum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Were you in Arizona when the Phoenix Light happened? When did it happen? And I can tell you. I was in Arizona. Well, I'll just tell you the years I was in Arizona. I was in Arizona from 1999, like the early 1999 through 2002. So 3 years, maybe almost 2003. So yeah, I know. I was still in high school in 97, so I would have been in Cali. Would be fitting to eat a Milky Way bar in Planet Fitness. Dude, yeah. That would be a funny like skit to do. To just like be a big fat dude and walk in there and take your shirt off and like get on a treadmill and then just like have this cooler next to you filled with Twinkies and ho-hos and like cold pizza and like milkshakes and shit and just like get the people's reactions around you as you walked on the treadmill and just stuffed your face with fucking junk food. Pull a big burger and some fries out of there and put it on there and just start eating as you run. Well, walk slowly. That would be pretty funny. Not my kind of thing though. I'm not a prankster. I can't do it. I couldn't be it. Like like the jackass style shit. I cringe at that. Have I ever told you guys about that? Like, yeah, that whole like prankster shit that people find funny. To me, that's the cringiest shit in the world. I can't watch it. I don't like people being deceived and shit. I think it's so unfunny. And I don't know, dude. I've just hated it always. Like even when I was a kid, I used to like those prank shows would come on. Like Bleep, there was a show when I was a kid called Bleepers, Bloopers, and Practical Jokes, where it was like all kinds of like celebrities and comics and stuff would do like Punked or whatever the fuck. Which oh my god, that show used to fucking drive me nuts. Oh my god, I just hate the prank shit. They're just the cringiest shit, and I hate watching it, and I hate. Ugh, it just sucks. It's not even really the asshole thing. It's the imposition of walking up and involving somebody in a production when they're just trying to go from one place to the next. That's what it is to me, honestly. It's not it's not like, oh, yeah, you're being an asshole to these people. That's kind of funny, but I like to see that done in an environment where people kind of at least have to reasonably expect it, like a stand-up show or something, or like our show. I don't like it when people go into people's personal lives and are like, "Oh my God, there's a gorilla," or whatever the fuck. Get them all scared, and then they go, "Just playing, dog. Yeah, this is hood pranks, y'all." And that person really is like under tons of social pressure to pretend that it's okay they're just like, oh man, fuck y'all, man, that sucks, man. Instead of being like, fuck you, bitch, boom, like they can't do that because then they're the asshole, not the fucking douchebag that just involved you in what they think is funny so they can make money on it. I just hate that shit, man. 100%. So I couldn't pull that prank, but somebody else could, the fat guy in a fucking workout place eating ho-hos all day or whatever. He could sit down on like the weight bench and pull out two turkey legs and start pumping them and just like taking a bite of each one like he's doing curls or whatever. How weird you don't want to debase yourself in public for attention. Well, that's not true. I debase myself in public for attention all the time. I just don't want it to involve somebody else who's just out there to do their business because I don't want that done to me. That's the difference, right? So I'll debase myself for attention in front of this camera all fucking day long. I do that. That's part of what Highdeology is. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna go out to you as you're taking your family out to dinner and bring my fucking stupid bullshit into your life because that's not what you came out there for. And I want that done to me. When I go to the grocery store, I don't want some fucking meme lord to run up and play a prank on me. I just want to get my groceries and go home, like everybody else. Paul seems like a guy that has to speak to the manager constantly. That's actually the opposite of me. I have this insane amount of empathy for people who work in food service. So I can't tell you when the last time I complained to a manager about somebody in the fucking restaurant or whatever. Like I'll complain, like I complained to IKEA and shit, I guess. I asked to speak to managers during that, but like I'm not that dude. You got the wrong impression about me. You play an instrument? No, not really. I can toot around on the trumpet or flugelhorn. I can pick a little bit at the guitar, but don't really know anything about it, and that's it. I sing a little bit. I don't think I've ever done that at a restaurant. Yeah, I can't think of. I hesitate to say I've never done it because I'm old and I don't remember every restaurant I've ever been in. But it's just not me. Like it's, I'm way more apt to just be like, yeah, that person's probably just having a bad day or they looked really slammed out. I understand stuff is shitty sometimes, and I'll just leave a tip and just go and chalk it up to the game because I understand what it's like to work in places like that. And there are just some days where you might really want to give people a good experience, but it just ain't gonna happen. So, what would it take? Like if somebody like hawked a looch in my food right in front of me or something. Like if the waitress was like "fuck you," I might be like, I need to talk to your manager about this situation. But like if they're just rude or dismissive or don't come by enough, I'm not gonna be that dude that's like, I need to speak to your manager, Missy. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I know what it's like to be out there on the hustle and grind and shit. And I know like I'm never gonna step in front of somebody else and the bread on their table over something stupid like having my feelings hurt because some waitress didn't blow me enough. Like fuck that. She's got a hard life. She got other things on her fucking mind. I got other things on my mind. She brought me my food. It was edible, hopefully. If it wasn't, well, what the fuck ever. I'll go down the street and get a hamburger. I'm way more apt to just chalk it up to the game. I don't complain to managers because you're too lazy. I don't know. It's not a laziness thing for me. It's just I don't want to fuck anybody out of their job. I don't want to get anybody written up. I don't know where that waitress is at. You know what I mean? Like, let's say she was rude or whatever. Well, she might not get a big fat tip from me, but she's gonna get something because I don't never not tip anybody. Like I just if it's a tipping situation, I'm gonna give something. But like that's it. That's the extent of my passive aggression because I don't know where that woman or man or person is at that point in their fucking life. Like maybe they just had their whole fucking world. Maybe their husband just left her or some shit, or maybe her kid just got hit by a car and she can't afford to take time off, or you know, what I mean, maybe she's on two write-ups already, and my complaint about her not bringing me enough orange juice is the last straw, and she loses her fucking job over that. You know, I can't. I don't want to live with that shit on my fucking conscience. So I just don't complain most of the time. Brianna Camp says, "Yay, Paul." Well, what up? What up? What to do? What to do? There's a tipping situation with an individual. Yes, vacation was good. It was good. It was, you know, it had its ups and downs, but overall, the beach was beautiful. I love spending time with Ashley. We needed some time away together as a couple, and it was a good thing overall, I think, in that way. I got to see my mom for the first time in a year, which was really nice. Got to give hugs and tell stories and catch everybody up on how my life has been crazy and shit, and smoke some weed and just chill. So I really needed it, and it was good. So yeah, I'd say overall good vacation, and it was a business vacation too, because there's that. The beginning of this stream, if you want to know about what you know what I have to say personally about the security risk and the meetup, I told the whole fucking thing. So, or everything that you're gonna get. So if you are interested, go watch the, you know, it's about 5 or 10 minutes into the beginning of this stream. And if you're, you know, not interested in doing that, then fuck off. Stop asking me. Somebody brought a bomb. Yeah. Somebody brought a bomb. Yeah. Somebody brought a nuke. A dude did give me some plutonium though, a tiny little chunk. He was like, "Hey, Paul Zigo, bring on the nukes." And I was like, "What is this?" And looking at it, it's in like a glass vial, you know. He's like, "That's plutonium." And I was like, "Bullshit." And he's like, "No, seriously, I'm working blah 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 blah." He's like a scientist. And he's like, "This is a very trace amount of plutonium. It only gives like he knew all the technical shit. And he's like, it only gives off 2 microns of blah blah blah, but whatever. Most of that is blocked by the glass that it's in, and it's totally safe." And he's like, "I got a bigger piece around my neck," and he had a, you know, like a big chunk of fucking rock and a, you know, like another one of those vials in there. And I was like, "Oh, cool." I think I left that at my mom's house though, so my mom now has some plutonium. I brought it out to show them, but I don't ever remember grabbing it off the counter and putting it in anything. So I'm pretty sure my mom's got a little vial of plutonium. Just a smidge though. And I was a little worried about going through the fucking machines with plutonium. So maybe, you know, subconsciously I left it at my mom's or some shit. But whatever. Paul is very responsible with plutonium, clearly. I would not recommend staying around plutonium, man, for prolonged periods. Well, I looked into it. I actually went home that night and looked into it because I was freaked out about it actually being plutonium and shit. And I looked into it, and a small amount of plutonium, especially one glass shielded, is doesn't get off any. It's not even above background radiation. Like it's just nothing. And he's right about that. I don't know if it's actually plutonium that's in that fucking little vial. He might have just been memeing, but it could be, and I'd be fine. Like plutonium doesn't get super radioactive until it's refined. That's why they refine it, because that's when it's got the highest energy potential. Plutonium is an inert metal. You don't want to be around big chunks of it, but like a little flake of it doesn't throw off a whole lot of fucking uh, radiation. It is just, yeah, it's not refined plutonium. I mean, obviously, this dude isn't going to hand me a piece of fucking hot plutonium. It's plutonium ore. It's unrefined, it's the base metal, which is still, you know, not everybody can get their hands on it, but it's not like dangerous to have a flake of it. You gonna get rad, yeah, dude. Well, I'll just take some rad away or some rad X. I know how to deal with that shit. I know what happens when your rads get a little too high, dude. I'll keep my eye on my meter. My meter hasn't moved, you know, so. But if it goes up and I start hearing that little sound, you know what I mean? That little that fucking Geiger counter sound. I know exactly what's up. I know what's up, dude. Time to take some Radex or some Radaway. Jareth Gawain smokes plutonium, dude. Yeah. See, this dude straight up smokes plutonium. So you're telling me it's dangerous? Come on. Can you sell it? I don't think so. I think it's illegal to trade in it for obvious reasons. Because once again, big chunks of raw plutonium, or I mean, you can be around it, but you can't have it. Like if you had it near you, it could be damaging to you. So, but like a little bit. Well, yeah, if you got stem packs, then you can just keep stemming up, when you get low from the rads. So I vape plutonium like a proper fag. Oh shit, dude. Marshall vapes his plutonium. That's next level shit. That's next level for sure. Are you guys in need of editors? I don't know, maybe. What are you pitching me here on Highdeology? Is that what you're doing? I don't hire anybody from Highdeology, like on Highdeology. If I, but if you want to reach out, send me your resume or whatever. You hit me up on Twitter or some shit. Send me a DM and I'll look at it and I'll run it by the guys. And if we do need an editor, I'll, you know, show me some of the shit you've edited. Like, give me something more to go on than a Highdeology comment. Give me a job, Paul. I'm qualified because I'm in your chat. Yeah, dude. What current rappers do you listen to, Paul? I listen to Post Malone a lot. I've been obsessed with Lil Pump lately. I like Gucci Mane. I like Rick Ross. I like Vince Staples. I like Childish Gambino. Um, Trying to think if there's anybody else that's making records right now that I like enough to mention. I mean, I listen to a bunch of people. Kanye, yeah. Kanye for sure. I'd put him on the list. Shit music, Paul. Well, fuck you. You ain't got to listen to it. Ask me. I don't really like Tyler. I mean, I think Tyler is a skilled MC, and I think maybe when Tyler gets a little older and more mature, he'll be a better rapper. But I don't know. For me, I think he's a little too self-indulgent in his raps. He weaves way too many in jokes into them. He fucks with the audience a little too much, and I just don't have fun listening to his music. So, no hate against Tyler. He's a talented dude, like I said. Yeah, Tyler the Creator. Yeah. Zero, Slim Thug, Paul Wall. I mean, I haven't heard anything from Paul Wall in a long time. He's the only one that well, I know Slim Thug as well. I like rap from all over, man. I like music from all over. I've always been kind of an eclectic music dude, and I'm always real open to new things eventually. At first, I'm resistant, but, like Ashley has exposed me to music that had I not been around her, I'd probably still say was bullshit, but I like it now because I've listened to it. I've actually listened to it and I've seen how she enjoys it, and you know, I can build a level of enjoyment based on that. Weed music, now she hasn't really been able to crack me on that one yet. She does listen to some, Vocaloid stuff, and I've heard some that are cool. I'm not gonna lie, but I probably wouldn't listen to them on my own. If that makes any sense. Like she's played some that are, whenever the beat is cool and the vocal line is kind of neat, but I wouldn't. I'm just not into it yet. I don't like the K-pop stuff either, and she listens to some of that, but. When we got together, especially, she wasn't into rap really at all. And so she started listening to that because of me, and she's into a bunch of different rappers now. She's into shit that I can't listen to now. Like, some shit that I just don't have the same level of appreciation she does, but just different rappers. Like, what's that fucking dude? Mod Son. I mean, I like some of his stuff. I like the peace sign song that she digs from him, but I'm not as into the rest of it. But she likes, he has this whole album BB that she really likes. I'm not as into him. There's a couple other ones I can't remember their names now that she's into now, but whatever. You know, that's it's fun how musical taste spreads like that. Because if Ashley and I had never met or gotten together, maybe she'd never have developed an appreciation for rap beyond the few little songs I'm sure she shook her booty to before she met me. Everybody likes some R&B or rap, but she actually listens to it now and appreciates it. And on my end of it, I never would have listened to fucking Panic at the Disco, fucking ever. Like I'd heard enough. I was just like, eh. But she really loves them. It's like her favorite band and stuff. And she, you have to when you're riding in a car with somebody, you have to give them equal. You get a song, they get a song. That's the only way to keep the peace. So she would play shit from I don't know, the second or third album, The Death of a Bachelor, maybe fourth, I don't know. And it's one of the more recent albums. And I ended up loving, like, just loving that whole album. I listen to it on my own now. And they've got a new one that just came out a few weeks ago or whatever. Ashley was all jazzed about it. And it's a Pray for the Sinners, yeah. And I really like it too. I don't like it quite as much as I liked Death of a Bachelor, but every song on it I enjoy. So, and there's some on there that I really, really enjoy. So that's a band, that I would never, and that's a whole genre of music too. She listens to things that are kind of adjunct to that, like Fall Out Boy and stuff. And I've started to develop, like, I don't listen to Fall Out Boy on my own, but if she plays it, I'm not instantly like, ugh, because it's similar. Um, Melanie Martinez is another artist that I'm only into because of Ashley. Never would have listened to her, but I love her combination of these like really deep kind of trap beats with her weird kind of sing-songy voice. So Melanie Martinez, another band, I listen to her on my own all the time. Crybaby, I think is her out that the album of hers that I really like. Oh, Kanye's next album is more like see, people keep wanting Kanye to go back, but all Kanye has given you is more forward. You're just gonna have to accept him as an artist that's gonna give you something different every album, and is never gonna go fucking walk backwards unless you don't want him to. Unless that's the only way for him to go forwards is to walk backwards. Like, trust me, dude. Kanye is gonna do what Kanye is gonna do. 2010 Kanye is dead, and if you're gonna want to like Kanye, then you just gonna have to accept that. I'm a Kanye fan. I loved Kanye West during the graduation and late registration era. I loved Kanye West all the way up through, Gold Digger and all that bullshit. And then fucking, when he dropped Yeezus, I was just blown away. Everybody hated it, and I was like, "Fuck me, man! This album is great." It's my favorite album of his by far. It's the one I listen to way more than any of them. Um, you know, I don't love every album of his, but I just accept that I don't get to when I sit down to listen to a Kanye album for the first time, I don't get to decide what to expect. My beautiful dark twisted fantasy or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, it's like it's a great album. They're all great. So whatever. I like Kanye. I'm a Kanye apologist, but I do believe that if you're going to be a fan of his music, you got to let go of what he's done because he's not going back. He's doing whatever he's doing. What'd you think of Bound 2 at the end? No, I liked it. I listened to that song. That was the song that got me into Yeezus. When I first listened to Yeezus, I kind of had the same reaction that everybody else did. But Bound 2, the last track on that fucking thing, and one of them that got, I know why it was picked as a single. It's just catchy as fuck. And I don't know what to say about it, but it was my access point to Yeezus because I probably wouldn't have liked the album if that song hadn't been right at the end of it because I was like, whoa, that was way. I woke up the next day singing "Bound to Fall In." I was just singing it all over and over, and I learned. I still went back and listened and listened and listened, and I know the whole song now. Or at least if it was playing, I could probably sing along with 90% of it, and that was really where I jumped off into Yeezus and started listening to the other tracks, and I was like, "Wow, okay, I didn't get this. I didn't see what was going on. I was expecting something that was more like that, but I'm not. He's not that anymore. He's this, and I just love it, man." Kanye is poppy as a rapper. He's not as poppy as people paint him, but he is a pop rapper. I agree, but I like that. I don't have this like negative stigma against pop. I've always listened to pop music. My parents listened to pop from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I grew up on this shit. I listened to a lot of pop music in the 90s. I like it. Like here's a pop artist for anybody that's in England. I mean, she never really blew up in America, but Lily Allen is a total like, not, I wouldn't call her Britney Spears. She's got a little more edge than Britney Spears, but a total like pop princess kind of personality. A little more girl next door, Punky Brewster-ish, but whatever. But she's a pop artist, and I listen to her all the time. I like a little bit of pretty much everything. I like Kanye because he doesn't apologize for how he is, and I'm always tripping over myself to apologize for the person I am. But Kanye's got fuck you money and then some. So I admire him for being carving out that position in life where he can just never have to say sorry for what he is or what he's done. He's living his life and he's doing it unapologetically, and he makes music when he wants to and how he wants to, and that's an enviable position for anybody that makes things for a living, especially performance things. You don't consider never apologizing to be a virtue? Well, you and I are on a different page then. I'm not talking about never apologizing. Like if fucking Kanye stepped on your foot or something, he'd probably say, "Oh, sorry, bro," or some shit. I'm talking about not apologizing for who and what he is. Not apologizing for things that he's said publicly, not apologizing for positions that he's taken, not apologizing for changing his music on his fans over and over and over and over again. Never, ever. That's why being a true artist is honestly that's what being a true artist is, honestly. Yeah, well, it's definitely something to aspire to. I don't know that every artist has had that level of confidence. I know a lot of artists are self-conscious people, but you have to unapologetically create your stuff at some point. You have to learn it at least. I'm in the process. I'm trying. Have you heard any Scars on Broadway? It's the guitarist from System of a Down. They just no, I haven't actually. I'll check it out though. I like System of a Down, so if it's anything like that or reminiscent even of that, I'll probably be interested in it. There's a band that I've been just one of their songs really, but I've listened to the album. That's pretty good. The Church of the Cosmic Skull, kind of like a stoner rock with a Satanist tint to it. 70s style, stoner rock with a hint of Satan worship, which is a good I like a dash of Satan worship in any kind of music. I think Satan just makes music better usually. I can't remember listening to a song that was about Satan or inspired by Satan or mentioned Satan that I was like, man, what that song needed was less Satan. So I'm thinking Satan's a pretty good musical muse. I'm always down for bands that are unapologetically worshiping the three-horned goat. Traditional Eastern European and Greek blues. See, I don't know, man. I'm sure I would enjoy something about it. I tend to like indigenous music. Like I don't listen to it, so I don't have an appreciation to the point where it's something I listen to. But I'm never sad to hear mariachi. Like people bitch about it a lot in my town. White people hate it when Mexican people roll by and their mariachi music is playing loud. But I started listening to it, especially like there's a style of song that's written in Mexico and Central America. It's called a corrido, Corrido, and it's basically like a gangster rap but Mexican. It's about murder and drug dealing and hookers and pimping and like it's a dark. And if you listen to the lyrics in it, it's actually you can hear some of the culture of the people that are listening to the music, and then you almost immediately, at least I did, you gain an appreciation for it because it's like, oh man, that's fucking hardcore. He's talking about stabbing a bitch to death and running from the cops, and this is not like what you imagine if you can't speak Spanish. A mariachi or a corrido song is like, it's like you know, you think it's just like, we like to drink and we are lazy, but really it's like, and then I stabbed the bitch in the eye, eye. You're like, oh, this is gangster shit. Okay. I have a mule with 10 tons of crack and I'm taking it across the border. Ay. And you're like, whoa, all right. Sweet. I've heard narco rap. I've heard it. I mean, narco rap was basically born out of the corrido scene. It was like, let's take this gangster rap thing that we've been doing in the form of these kind of Mexican ballads and let's just do the rap thing. But I've heard narco rap before. Yeah. I grew up around mostly Mexican people, so their culture is really kind of infused into me. I'm not into all the things that they are into. I'm not claiming to have the same connection, but I did grow up close enough to a lot of Mexican people and a lot of Central American folks to really have a very, very real appreciation for their music and their culture and their work ethic and their food, especially above all food. Their food is they got some of the best goddamn food in the planet. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Do you like other types of folk music? I'm kind of a folky. I can't sit and listen to folk music all day, but I like I like soft indie rock that tinges on folk. So I'll give you an example. Iron and Wine, or anything where they're using traditional folk instruments like a slide guitar or a banjo, but they're, I'm kind of a sucker for that shit. Tikal, dude. Tikal. I wonder if that's actually Tikal or if that's just somebody else with an appreciation. Anyway, I know a dude. I know a dude. I know a guy. Every time I see Tikal, I think of him. Even though I don't talk to him much anymore. Do you? Yeah, Method Man's album. I just thought you were somebody else. But it's all good, dude. That Mexican dude gave you Vanilla Ice hair. Yeah, dude. Jesus. Literally, his name was Jesus. And gave me the Vanilla Ice haircut, which was totally dope, with the lines shaved into the side and the pompadour up front. And he also ate wasp larvae right out of a live wasp hive in front of me once, too. And helped my mom keep the car running if she needed it. So he was a nice dude. He was a nice guy. Jesus probably fucked your mom. Dude, why does everybody always say that shit, dude? Not every gardener is fucking, like, they'd never get anything done. Like, think about what you're extrapolating here. Because my mom had a dude that helped with the gardening, he was fucking her. So what? When he finished with her gardening, did he go fuck the neighbor lady too? I mean, and are all gardeners like they'd never get any gardening done? They'd be fucking all day. Come on, buddy. What kind of fucking story are you trying to sell me here, man? Because I don't know that I'm buying. I don't know that I'm buying. Oh yeah, I had the frosted tips, man. Dude, I could pull up a picture of me. I think. No, maybe not here. I think I've got it on my phone though. I wish I could just like pull up a picture from my phone and like show you guys it, but we can't work on that technology. Like that, they could do that. Are you guys telling me they couldn't do that? They couldn't let me like have a button down here that I could press on my phone that's like, give me access to my pictures. Would you like to post this picture to your chat? Yes. And then like, you guys see the picture for 20 seconds or whatever, and you can X out of it to see me again. I'm sure there's a lot behind that, but I think it could be done. I think we have the technology. I think we have the technology. That would require YouTube to be user friendly. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I had the frosted tips though, because I bleached my hair. That was the big thing back then. Everybody, I think Kurt Cobain probably started it. He was a total like blondie towhead guy, and every dude wanted to look like that. So the path to it was bleached hair, and then it caught on with like singers and shit, and so it was over. But then, like as soon as fucking like what's his name, lead singer of Stone Temple Pilots or whatever, bleached his hair, and then fucking Hey Now, you're an all star, and the frosted tips happened. I mean, man, it was a dark time for hairstyles, but a good time for music. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I feel that same way about the 70s and the 80s. It was a dark time for fashion. I think 90s was better for fashion, honestly. But the 70s and the 80s, a very dark time if you care about fashion, but a really good time for music. 70s fashion is unbeatable. Yeah, dude. Silk print shirts, one size too tight with a butterfly collar tucked into a pair of high-waisted bell-bottom pants and platform shoes with sequins on them, man. Yep. That sounds like a nightmare. Nope, nope, nope. Got to unbutton the top two or three buttons of your butterfly collared shirt too, and then have a nice thick gold chain, at least one, nesting right there in your chest hairs. That's the 70s, man. That's the 70s. And women look good in the 70s, though. You're right. And the 60s. That's true. It's just bad time for men's fashion, really. In the 80s, it was a bad time for everybody. I mean, it went off the goddamn fucking deep end. But yeah, women looked fucking great in the 70s, and they look great in the 60s. I mean, you're right. You're right. That is a good correction. I will accept that. I'll accept that correction, sir. I mean, girls have always looked good, though. They've always managed to look good. You go back to the 50s, girls look good. They're running around, oh, in their ponytails and little poodle skirts and shit. Like, yeah, women always find a way to look good. It's just, they always have. What are you going to do? But men are really the fashion victims of the world because men in the fucking 50s look like dorks. I mean, some of them, greasers are kind of cool, but it's still a little over the top. And then in the 60s and 70s, it really just started going downhill. I guess the 60s were kind of cool. Hippies are cool. But the 70s came along, and then it's all like, greasy, slicked back hair. And just like I described with the silk prints shirt with the butterfly collar and the fucking mess. Women are still looking hot as fuck, but men are stomping around on big old cloggy ass platform shoes with a goldfish in the heel. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good look for us men. Not that I'm a fucking fashion plate, but here's my thoughts on it. Men really usually don't look good, so I'm just gonna look comfortable because that's really what I want my life to be. It's not as uncomfortable as some people's lives. I'm not there yet, but it's just comfortable, man. I wear things that are comfortable. I wear shoes because they're comfortable on my feet, not because they're $3,000. And I wear a pair of pants because it's loose and it lets my balls flop around if I decide to go commando, and I like that shit. And I wear a shirt because it has a cool thing on it, and it covers up my man tits. And I wear a hat because it makes it so when I get out of bed in the morning, I don't have to do anything with my hair. That's comfort. That's my whole fucking philosophy is comfort. But that's not really a fashion philosophy because I look dumpy as fuck and I look like a homeless dude. But whatever, I'm a comfortable homeless dude, so fuck it. Fuck it, man. What even is fashion? Who the fuck cares? I don't know, man. People do care about that, and how you look does matter. I mean, we're a species, so when you see like the birds on those fucking Attenborough documentaries walking around with their tail feathers all fanned out and doing dances in front of their females and shit. I mean, we got that in us too. That's not that far back in our evolutionary ladder, and we've got our own sexual displays, and part of what we've developed is our dress. I mean, women have been using the way that they dress, provocatively or otherwise, for since there were women. And men are trying to project, importance and strength and emotional and psychological and economical stability. They're trying to project, a cool bad boy. I mean, you just follow the fashion is an important thing, man. It is not to me personally, like I don't wring my hands about it all day, but it really, if you want to look at the human species, you have to look at fashion. You have to look at how we dress ourselves because it's such a part of our social interaction that, and that's why we're all so fucking up in arms over burqas and, thongs and, where's the line? What can we wear? What can't we wear? Like, you can't say that's not important and then want to talk about human beings. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't personally give a fuck. I just got done telling you that, but I do think it's not a throwaway topic. It's not something you just go, "Who fucking cares?" If you want to talk about it from that perspective, yeah, who fucking cares about the new line from Gucci or whatever? I agree with that. Rappers and people that want to be rappers or want to fuck rappers. Those are the people that are watching Gucci's website to find out when their next line of fucking pocketbooks is coming out, right? I'm not doing that. But I do think that fashion is an interesting thing to look at from a human perspective. hmm Ripped jeans are in. There were a few chicks at the meetup, and almost all of them were wearing skin tight ripped jeans. So I was like, oh, all right, that shit's back in a big way. Um, what's wrong with thrift stores? Thrift stores. I don't know. What is wrong with thrift stores? I don't. Did I say something against a thrift store? Will loincloths ever come back? Sure, probably. Probably out of necessity more than anything. Trying to meet all the alt dudes with these ripped jeans. Yeah, man. Can fat guys wear skinny jeans? Go take a look at that dude that used to hang out with fucking what's his name? It's everyday bro guy. What was his name? Nick Compton. The England is my city, and he's a fat dude squeezed into a pair of skinny jeans. And I want you to look at him and answer your own question. Go watch that video and look at Nick Compton with his big fat British eggs and bacon eating ass squeezed into a pair of skinny jeans, and you tell me if it looks okay. You'll probably know immediately what it looks like. I'd rather you do that than give you the simple answer. Go do your research, dude. I just hope the chicks wearing overalls fad doesn't come back. I don't know, dude. I kind of liked that in the 90s. It was all right. You know, there's a wholesomeness to the overall. And women used to do those overall shorts too, which were like booty shorts with overalls. So it's like, yeah, you get a little less titty, but you still get all the booty of a normal pair of shorts. So it's like, what are you bitching about? Hello, Nick. Well, thank you, my Russian friend. Prayers to you too. I dig a chick in hip waders. Dude, I dig a chick in anything, dude. Women are sexy no matter what they do. They just can't help it. Could cut a hole in a sheet and drape it over you, and I'd be like, damn, I just want to be up under that sheet. It's just women. They just exude it, man. Part of what they are. How was the vacation, Paul? I just got back from one myself. It was actually nice. Thank you for asking. I hope yours was as nice as mine was. What?
His face.
Oh, who? Little Dinor? He had the smash face because he was laying?
He's like,
Yeah.
you want me to go get Wendy's?
Yeah. Yeah, baby.
You want a big cheeseburger?
I kind of want chicken strips or nuggets or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not because I had a burger this afternoon.
That's true. I don't even think you finished
I mean, if
it.
we're gonna get back on this fucking diet and shit, I want some variety in my life. So I either want Taco Bell or some nuggets, dude.
Taco Bell or nuggets?
Yeah.
What do you want more?
Either or, whatever you want more is fine with me. I would be equally happy with Taco Bell or nuggets, but I'm not happy with a cheeseburger right now, man.
Okay.
Not happy. Paul wants a number 9 large. There you go, Doom Kid, with extra dip. Doom Kid knows.
I'm thinking maybe Taco Bell.
Alright.
What do you?
You know what I like there?
I know you like the grillers. I know you like bean and cheese.
I like regular crunchy tacos, non-supreme. I like those. So you can get me a bunch of those if you want. I'll eat like 5 of them probably,
Do you want
or
me
4.
to get you like a few so you have some for tomorrow
No,
while I'm at work? 'Cause I'm
no.
gonna be at work
I
for
like bean
7
and cheese
hours.
burritos there. I like the fucking crunch wrap griller things or whatever they
Yeah.
are. So yeah, just give me a selection of things that you know I like. I'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah. Get a fresco bean burrito. Is that good? I haven't had it. I just like their bean and cheese burrito, man. It's delightfully low quality. Oh yeah, dude, I douse that shit in fire sauce. You know me, baby. Give me that fire. I just had pot roast that was in the crock pot with Stubbs sweet heat for about 10 hours, dude. That must be fucking good. Yeah, I'm gonna do us a roast or some shit. Ashley and I in the next couple of days are gonna get our shit unpacked in the kitchen so that we can go do a shop and get back on our keto because both of us are doing really good on that. And vacation is over, so it's time. But yeah, oh, I want to make a roast. Do a nice roast. Cut up some veggies in there and shit. Yeah, crock pot beef stew is the best, and it's so easy too, man. I like to do a dry rub on it with a little bit of like beef stock, right? So I'll throw my big cut of meat, whatever cut you get. Just get a nice, solid cut of meat with some good intermuscular fat. Throw it in there. No bone. I don't. Well, I mean, I guess you could do a bone-in cut, but I don't. Just get like a round roast or a tri-tip or something. You throw it in there. Um, Cut up your vegetables. You want to do a dry. I do like a dry spice rub. Sea salt and black pepper, maybe some garlic salt, a little bit of chili powder or something if I want to kick it up a little bit, and then you just throw the meat in there. You cut up some onions. I won't do any potatoes, but you can. You can do potatoes. Celery is really good in that. Just cut it up rough too. You don't have to make small cuts. Throw in the carrots, and then you just put that shit on low and walk away from it. Like set a timer on your phone for tomorrow, and just walk away. And then you open it up tomorrow, and it's just like, oh. Yeah, you can sear the meat before you put it in. That is a good tip. I don't always do it though, and I tell you what, dude, if you don't do it, it doesn't make that big of a difference. You're right, it does kick it up a notch, and it's a nice thing to do. But for the ease of just throwing in a piece of meat, cutting up some vegetables, throwing a little fucking beef stock in the bottom, because that meat is gonna just, you're not gonna have to add too much liquid. All those vegetables are gonna sweat out water. The meat's gonna sweat out fat. So it's like you're gonna get a good gravy at the bottom of that shit. Just a little bit of beef stock in there with it, and just throw it in there and fucking let it go. Season up the vegetables too, just like you did the meat. Throw some sea salt and some fresh black pepper and some chili powder, some garlic salt. Cut up a clove of fresh garlic and throw it in there and just fucking forget about it. Just fucking forget about it. Forget about it for like 8 to 12 hours, and then just come back and it's. Are you on a diet? I've been on a diet. I've been doing keto for a while. We went on vacation, so you cheat on vacation. But Ashley and I are, we're in the middle of moving back in still. All our boxes are here and shit. So we've got to unpack our kitchen, go do shop, get back on the fucking grind. Food or drugs? What's the difference? Do you like menudo? I've had it. I don't really like it though. I don't like tripe, so I've tasted it. It tastes real good, but I just couldn't sit there and eat a bowl of menudo. you like Lil Pump, you should check out Ugly God. I've heard some of Ugly God before. I don't know, man. Lil Pump is my one little access point to that trap rap shit. I just like his beats, man. His beats are all good. So it's annoying meat that tender. It always gets stuck in your teeth. Not for me. I don't have any problem with it. It's good, dude. Little B birthed all these rappers. Yeah, I know. The based god himself. Well, him and Lil Wayne, too. Lil Wayne is equally to blame for all this bullshit. But all these fucking SoundCloud rappers and shit, that's all pretty much Lil B's fault. Lil Wayne, I don't know. I don't listen to him a whole lot, but he's a talented rapper. He's got some pretty good songs. Lil, yeah. I'm waiting for that one. I've been watching this dude on YouTube recently that I don't even know how I found him. His name is Ass Pizza. And from what I can understand, he makes fashion for like teenage kids to wear that are all like, unique pieces. And that's a big thing right now. There's like this underground fashion movement with kids where they want to have these. And he's got clout because he's given rappers his clothes and they've worn them in videos and shit. So people know who Ass Pizza is. And he vlogs and it's crazy. He's like 20 years old or something, and he rents a house somewhere, and he just lives in the garage basically and makes clothes, and then he sells them to people, gives them out to rappers and shit, travels all over the country to go to shows wearing his clothes and sell them and shit. Gets up early in the morning to go to the swap meet in whatever little town he lives in to buy cheap jeans that he can take back and make into clothes. I don't know, it's just an interesting life. Like people are carving out these interesting lives for themselves that are just outside of what I would think, I would have never thought of. And I like it. I like that about it. It gives me hope for this generation. I'm usually pretty down on like the kids or whatever the fuck. I'm an old crusty fuck sitting on my fucking front porch in the rocking chair chasing kids off my lawn. I'm not, but like it gives me a little bit of hope that I didn't have before for the generation of kids that are coming up because they're hustlers. Like they're out there, they're willing to just go out there and do it and like make it happen for themselves. And that's something that I wouldn't have attributed to them. But the SoundCloud rapping shit and ass pizza and this weird fashion thing that's springing up and all the weird music that's coming out of it that's quickly getting brought into the mainstream, like all of that shit is cool, right? And it's all positive stuff that's coming out of this young culture that I'm always criticizing. So I'm a fucking old fuck, dude. I'm an old curmudgeonly piece of shit. So you should always like if you're a young person, you've heard me be down on some of what you guys do. In fact, most of what you guys do suck, but that's no different than my generation. I'm just an old fuck. I'm set in my ways. But I like that entrepreneurial spirit. I like that fucking you know what, I'm gonna call myself ass pizza and I'm gonna make jeans out of my garage and I'm gonna live this crazy life and travel all over the place. It's like cool. How could I hate on that? Like that's just straight out good old American style hustle, you know. And if I ever get too old to fucking appreciate that on some level, then fucking tell me about it. Oh, I've got grays, man. I got grays. You don't even want to see my grays, man. I got grays in the beard. I got grays in the hair, the temples, and the hairline. Man, I'm an old fuck, dude. I'm an old fuck. What do you want? I can't change it. I can't rewind the clock. I'm an old fuck that spends his time talking mostly to people that are way younger than him. I don't know, dude. That's just the weird life I've got. How can you have anyone named Ass Pizza? I don't know, dude, but hate. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a different statement. Like, I'd like to have an ass pizza original, dude. I'd be an old dude rocking ass pizza. Why the fuck not? Shout outs to ass pizza, dude. You want to mail me some jeans or some shit? Make me a nice fucking hat that I can wear around that's an ass pizza original, dude. I'll rock that shit. I'll pay you a few $100 or something. I'd wear an ass pizza. Why the fuck not? Dude, I got more compliments in California on my shirts than anywhere I've ever been. I didn't even wear like, dude. I have my big Alfred Hitchcock shirt, where it's just kind of his profile, big picture of his face. Dude, people couldn't stop. Like I was walking around and they'd just be like, "Dude, your shirt's badass, cool shirt, like your shirt." That one and the alien one, like people would see the xenomorph and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, them shirts is cool." I meant to watch the whole thing but got sidetracked. It's nice and long. Oh, okay. Outside of the meetup? No, when I was just walking around, like when we were in Pismo, walking down from Main Street to the pier, which is like 2 blocks of downhill fucking easy walk. I must have got 3 or 4 compliments from there to the pier. Just like from random people that were walking the other way back up the fucking slope. Oh, fucking cool shirt, man. Like, oh, okay. I tried to give it back to one dude because there's this old dude walking on the beach that had a shirt on that was like, I don't remember what it was, but it was like a hippie kind of tie dye thing, and it had a smiley face on it and some slogan like "Let's get weird" or I'm a you know I'm chilling. That's what it was. I'm chilling. I'm just chilling, and it had like a happy face smoking a joint. And I saw him walking back up the beach, and I was like, "Me too, man. Me too." I pointed at his shirt, and he just like looked at his shirt and kept walking. I was like, "Oh, Dinor, you gonna be quiet, boy? I don't want to hear that. No bark." I like the shirt with the chicken that's half a skull. Yeah, with the chick that's half a skull. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cool. I'd wear one that was a chicken that was half skull too. But yeah. You can thank everybody else in my life for my shirts. I don't know how to buy things for myself, so I wear shirts until they're so holy and shitty that I can't wear them out anymore. And then somebody usually takes pity on me and buys me a bunch of shirts for my birthday, and then I've got new shirts to wear out. You know what I mean? I can't remember the last. I don't even own a fucking Coolsville shirt. I don't know a single one of our shirts except for Dinor. I bought myself a Dinor shirt because I wanted to wear it to the LA meetup, and then I ended up forgetting it at the hotel and not wearing it. I'm wearing a different shirt anyway. Yeah. I never buy, there's shirts out there with my face on it. I don't own them. So I just kind of rely on the people that love me to, around Christmas time, see me wearing a shirt with big holes in the armpit or whatever the fuck, and go like, let's get Paul some cool shirts. So, how do you ensure sleep? I got to be somewhere tomorrow at 8 or so. How do you ensure sleep? Go get a bottle of Z-Quil. Don't get the NyQuil because you don't need it. Get the Z-Quil and down half that shit. Or conversely, if you don't want to go to the store and you've got some whiskey, down about, a quarter bottle of whiskey. Just as much as you can take, and then go lay down. You'll be asleep. You'll go to sleep. Mm. Weed doesn't really make me sleepy. I mean, I can take it before bed and it helps mellow me out, so it can help with sleep. But I'm not a dude that you're gonna catch passing out. I don't care what kind of weed you're throwing at me either. Like people, indica is a better one to take at night, but I'm just not that guy. I get talky on weed. I'm talky all the time, but any kind of weed. Give me straight up indica, give me sativa, give me whatever you got. It's not gonna knock me the fuck out. Sativas are gross feeling. See, I love them. I love all weed though. Weed is like a miracle plant for me because it's like a mood management system for me, and that's exactly what I need in my life. I have these wild mood swings sometimes. I wouldn't say I'm bipolar, but I can go from 0 to 100 back to zero pretty quick, and weed balances that out in my life in a major way. I still have outbursts and shit. I still struggle with it, but weed helps a lot, keeping me even and mellow and whatever the fuck. Helps with my pain. I also have a lot of chronic pain. My neck and back are always in pain, no matter where I am or what I'm doing. I'm always in pain. So weed helps blunt the edge of that in a pretty significant way. It's all good. It's 100% good for me. I've never smoked a weed product that I was like, man, I wish I had not smoked of that weed. It's all. It's just beneficial to me. It helps me a lot. Paul's a violent, rage-filled monster. Yes. Yes. Dude, I visited the U.S. recently. Dad had some Colorado CBD THC oil. It was incredible. Oh yeah, dude, the oil in California was fucking amazing. We went into this shop, and I'm used to having smoke blown up my ass at pot shops because the first pot shops I went to were in Seattle, which is, I'm not trying to dog them out because there's good weed to be bought there, but those pot shops there are so like, I don't know. They're just trying to sell you. They're not trying to help you. They're just trying to sell you whatever. But in Cali, it ain't like that. This broad pulled. I wasn't even gonna buy concentrates. I bought a bunch of pre rolls and some flour. I was done. And then Ashley was like, I want a pen with those so I can hit it. And this chick, I heard her giving the spiel, and she's like, look, the chick behind the counter at the weed place was like, look, she's like, I smoke weed all day. You can understand that. I work here. She's like, I smoke a lot of flower. I have a really high tolerance. She's like, I carry this pen around on my neck because I can hit it once or twice and I'm fucking really stoned. She's like, this is tested up to, I think she said like 94% pure THC. It's 100%. She's like, it's just a totally mellow high. And Ashley bought one of those pens and I hit it just because I was so skeptical of this woman's claims that a high tolerance person could hit this pen and get high. I hit it 2 or 3 times and I was on the moon. I was like, okay, welcome to Cali, I guess. So yeah, California is the place to be right now. I like dabs, but I don't like dabs, and here's why. It is incredibly hard, at least for me. I never really learned, I don't think, how to dab exactly right. Because for me, it seems like a constant battle. If it's like if you get your nails when you're dabbing, if you heat your nail up too hot, you're going to have a bad time because you're just going to get a lung full of super hot fucking vaporized oil. He's going to want to reject it immediately and you're going to cough and it's going to feel awful. If you heat the nail not enough, you get a weak ass hit and you just liquefy a bunch of the oil and you waste a bunch of it. And then you gotta fucking heat it up and do a bunch of oil dabs and shit. It's fucked. I never got good at dabbing. I've taken a few dabs where I was like, man, that was a real good dab, but I could never repeat it. I never had an e-nail, so there's that. Your mic's acting up. Maybe your fucking internet's acting up because nobody else is saying anything about it. But yeah, dabbing is expensive. I have still, but I don't dab anymore, obviously. But I had a dab rig in Washington that I used every once in a while. I'd get, it was just part of my weed buy. I'd go buy like a little gram of shatter or some shit, and I'd just vape it a little bit at a time, or maybe just all at once. I'd take it home and vape it over the course of a night, and that would be like a little fucking, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I get wavy weed, but I don't I don't know, dude. I keep my composure, man. I'm good on weed. I'm just am. Anybody that came to the meetup and was in my orbit for 5 minutes will attest to it. I just don't. I cannot smoke too much weed, and I cannot smoke enough weed. And I never say no to somebody that passes me a joint, even if I just took a hit off somebody else's joint, right after taking a hit off somebody's bong, right after hitting somebody's vape pen so hard I coughed because it was way stronger than I expected it to be. And then somebody right at the end of my racking fucking cough, at the end of that fucking hit, goes, "Hey Paul, you want to hit this fat ass resin joint?" You're never gonna hear Paul's ego be like, "Nah, man, I'm probably good." I'm gonna be like, "Yes, thank you." Oh, there's another J in the rotation. Sure, pass it over. Mm-hmm.
This town is too damn small, Paul.
Why is it too damn small?
Because the girl at Taco Bell knew I worked at Starbucks because of my hair.
Oh, yeah, you're probably the only pink-headed person with
This
an.
is not the first time it's happened either.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of pink heads around here. Beans.
I think.
Oh man, this is bad news for the Highdeology crew though, because I don't do mukbangs yet. Me and Ashley are gonna start a mukbang channel though called Mukbang, where we eat
Okay,
shit
2 of
in
them
front
are
of
nacho
people.
grillers, 1 is a bean and cheese.
All right, that's cool. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, I mean, I'm getting at least 1 of the nacho grillers.
You ain't getting shit.
I also added rice in them this time.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this because it's time for me to eat.
Yeah, boy.
Bye.